Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 13th of January. You know, why is it's Friday the 13th is but Tuesday the 13th isn't. Have you thought about that, Mike or Terry?
It doesn't bother me like it. I think it used to be a little bit more of a play on it than it is today. But it doesn't bother me.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
I just think something bad happened to somebody once on Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
and so
And
they said,
it's,
"Oh, Friday the 13th."
and then Hollywood, of course, made a movie, didn't they?
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
they just.
That kind of
I
added
think
to
it's
the mystery.
just a mystery of it. Yes, I think that's the best way to look at it, Roger.
Well, let's start by, again, expressing our condolences, Mike, to you and your family over
Thank
the
you,
passing
Roger.
of your
Appreciate-
wonderful father.
Appreciate
At
you coming by.
98 years of...
He had 98 great years. I called it a celebration, and I would just like to thank our friends and family. We had 3 hours and 15 minutes. We were scheduled from noon until 3
Yeah,
for
on
visitation
Sunday,
Sunday, and it went till 3:15. So
I went yesterday
I know.
because I wanted to avoid the long line.
you said, "Whoa, what happened?"
Didn't make any difference.
No,
It was another long line.
We were told nicely at about 9:20 that Father would like to start the service at 10.
At 10.
Blame the Father.
But you didn't start at 10.
At 10:30 though. It was
At 10:30,
it was 9:30 to 10:30. It might have been a little late, but
yeah, it was a little late.
Another hour.
But you had a long line yesterday.
Long line.
But
the day
did
before.
meet some people and chatted with
Oh,
them.
it was
The guy in
like
front
this-
of me, I'd heard of him. I think I met him one other time,
Who is
Pat
it?
Kramer.
Oh,
What?
but he would be an interesting guy. I'll see if we can get him on before he goes down. He works for the Cardinals.
I did not know
Oh yeah,
that.
in fact he started.
He looked familiar, and I
Oh,
kept looking at
no,
him, and I thought,
he's,
at first I thought it was Dennis Sear.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, Dennis came by early,
Okay.
and but no, he's just. He started with the Chiefs as what they call a clubby.
You know, I do remember that. Yes.
In the visitors' locker room. But then as break came, he got moved like the next year to another team like down south, and the manager that was fired by the Cardinals a couple years ago was coaching that team. And as he moved up, when he got to St. Louis, he took Pat with him.
He did.
And Pat was the last time I heard, Pat was the visiting team clubhouse manager, which means he gets anything the visiting team wants. If they want an order, if they want prime rib sandwiches.
That's quite a job.
Oh, yeah, because there's usually 25 players, and you got the coaching staff of about 7 or 8 now.
He would be an interesting guest on our show.
He'd be
wouldn't
very.
he? Yeah.
I mean, he's been to weddings of major league players. I know we're personal friends. We usually get out to breakfast once.
Well, the next time you talk to him, say, "Hey,
let's get on.
Let's set you up
Yeah.
on a Tuesday
He
morning
would
when you're here."
and he kind of got this dry sense of humor.
Well, that'll fit well
That's
on the
right.
show.
Yeah, but Pat Kramer is I think he went to Notre Dame High School, maybe Bergen at that time. Notre Dame, I think. And
Well, I do want to commend your family.
Thank
You
you.
have a wonderful, beautiful family, and I was surprised that some folks that I had met in your family, and they did remember me, and it was. I could see why you were there a long time. A lot of family members,
no, when you have
well
kids,
known,
6 kids, and
and you had the Riverman
River-
team show up
John,
as well.
John
That
Gee
was
Trudell and Bart Rogers, the owner and heads up the front office. They arranged so the players would be here.
Isn't that neat?
At, roughly around 9:30 when we opened, and they were all in their, they had their jerseys on. And
Yes, they sure did, didn't they?
It was a good chance.
I was surprised they were wearing skates, though.
They weren't wearing skates.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that carpeting doesn't work quite as well as.
That's the ice, right?
Right, no.
Yeah.
But thank you,
know,
Roger.
you know what was fascinating to me was the age of the hockeymen, and I hardly want to call them hockey. They're young kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the stepping stone into pro hockey, really.
Yeah.
It's the Southern Professional League. Most of them are either just out of juniors, which means they're about 21, or they're just out of college, which means they're 23 or so. So.
I just don't. I couldn't picture them being mean on the ice.
No, they're not. Well,
I won't say they're mean, but rough. I guess.
yeah,
a little better.
it's not quite as rough a game as it used to be. It's
Still pretty rough.
It's still pretty rough, but I mean, as far as, there used to be a lot more, fighting, for example. The fighting's been curtailed to a degree.
And it should be.
And it should be, right. I've always said that. You fight in any sort of high school hockey or college hockey or even Olympic hockey, you are asked to leave the game nicely. Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
skating, passing, and shooting.
What was it? I went to a fight last night and a hockey game broke out. Was that the saying
That
for
was
a while?
the saying. You don't hear it quite as much as you used to.
No, you sure
But
don't.
I'll tell you, the Blackhawks and the Blues, they draw well, and we're drawing well here. We're averaging over 4,000 a game.
Yeah, it is amazing. And once again, Coach Trudeau has done an outstanding job, as you're going to report. The Rivermen are back in first place.
First, right?
Familiar location and
them.
Standings for our
10
Peoria
years.
team.
Yeah.
We have quite a program this morning. Our
Great.
guest will include Dr. Gene Sidler. He'll talk about the growing concern about males playing female sports, and I think the Supreme Court is going to issue their announcement today, and everybody's on the edge of the seats to see what that will entail. And Peoria County Circuit Clerk Bobby Spears will join us. Bobby, a dear friend of
Bobby went
this
through, I think,
program.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and he'll be.
Yeah. Neat guy.
Yeah.
And Chris Buckley hopefully will join us. It Plays Media Group. He's got over 1,000 movie posters, and he's willing to put them up for sale since he's running out of space. 1,000.
Well, that'll happen,
Yeah. Well, let's do what we do every morning and bring you the most comprehensive news in local broadcasting. We have a lot of stories and a lot of things to report, so stay tuned. Let's start with this crazy Midwestern weather brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President. As folks know, listen to the program regularly. He's the financial advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley for investment needs. Bob Manning's available at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Weather-wise, mostly cloudy and windy today, a little warmer, up to 52 degrees. It'll be cloudy tonight and 29 tomorrow. We have a chance for morning flurries. It'll be windy, falling temperatures reaching 26 by 4 tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night's low, 14 degrees. And we were forewarned yesterday that Kyle Arnold, it was headed our way, the cold temperature. Thursday, increasing cloudiness and cold, a high of 29. Snow showers likely Thursday night with a low of 25. And Friday, a chance for afternoon snow showers and a high of 37. Currently 33 degrees. Now with our lead story, here's Terry.
Well, it's back to lawfare for Democrats in Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Those governments have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law.
And attorney generals for Illinois and the city of Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and Border Patrol agents. They claim agents engaged in unlawful and violent tactics in violation of the 10th Amendment and federal statutes.
Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigation started in 2022.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that these investigations on these fraudulent learning centers, as they said, started as far back as 2022. And they're still rioting in other news in Iran as President Trump warns that the government could have some serious consequences. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran.
In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oaklawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who is disabled.
Peoria's fire department receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. The money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local fire officials.
Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and has not been seen since. She's 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that could help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131.
The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations expanding. Health officials in some states are opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended a change in what vaccines are administered to newborns. We're going to discuss those recommendations with Dr. Gene Sidler, 7:15 this morning.
In another program note,
Yes.
yes, we'll learn more about the office of Peoria County Circuit Clerk at 7:30 when we talk with Bobby Spears, who is the Circuit Clerk.
And a neat guy. And we continue with news from WCBU, brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport, Central Illinois. In a time of need, AMT, the men and women, will be there in a matter of minutes with the most skilled and advanced pre-hospital care possible. AMT, dedicated to providing a better life through better health.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Ben Howell. The Illinois Department of Public Health reports 14 measles cases this past year. That's down dramatically from the previous year, which saw 67 cases. Jennifer Suss specializes in pediatric medicine at the department.
We certainly would have liked it to be 0 cases, but measles is here in the United States, and so we're working to make sure that everyone knows that they should get vaccinated because, again, this is a preventable illness.
This comes as the U.S. saw the highest level of cases in over 30 years, according to the CDC. Suss says more patients are opting out of vaccinating their children before starting school for non-medical reasons, like religious rules. A state legislative oversight committee is allowing the Illinois Department of Corrections to make rules that allow it to scan and digitize mail of those in custody. It's considered a blow to prison reform advocates, according to Capital News Illinois. The rule was originally introduced under pressure from Republican legislators and the Prison Workers Union after a series of substance exposures in the fall of 2024 left correctional staff hospitalized. The policy has been in effect on an emergency basis since August. The department sought to make the rule permanent, describing it as a necessary safety precaution to keep drugs and dangerous substances from being smuggled into prisons via the mail. And the USDA has shared more details about how it will dole out $11 billion in one-time payments to row crop farmers. The aid is meant to offset trade disruptions, high production costs, and low crop prices. Payment rates are based on the number of acres farmers planted last year, along with estimated production costs and prices for specific commodities. Nick Paulson, an agriculture economist at the University of Illinois, says the one-time payments only provide short-term relief.
Prices for most row crops have not significantly improved from what farmers are currently dealing with for their 2025 crop. And we don't see production costs declining to the extent needed to get farmers back into the black.
An analysis by the American Farm Bureau shows the Midwest and Corn Belt states will receive over 60% of the funding. I'm Ben Howell.
Hey, it's time for sports, ladies and gentlemen, and the guy standing by with all the latest, Mike Olson. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning to you, Roger. And I'll tell you, you got a lot going on right now with college basketball, college and pro hockey, and you got
The playoff.
playoffs
Yeah.
going on in the NFL. I mean, it is a big
It's an
time for
exciting
sports.
time of the year.
And we
Isn't
got it
this
all.
really? Isn't this really a great time for sports
Oh,
fans?
it's wonderful. You know, and you also get that, you know, in March and April there too, where you get the NCAA basketball playoffs
Yeah,
and you
you're
get
right.
baseball starting. But it's this is the NFL especially. I don't think anybody will disagree anyway. They are the hottest ticket. I mean, they fill the stadiums every weekend. They only play once a week. That's an advantage, I think, to drawing people. You force them to once a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where baseball, they try to play 5-6 games a week, and I think baseball could cut their schedule back a little bit.
I think that would
And
be
I
a
think it
wise
would-
idea. What do they play? 162 games?
162, yeah. Yeah, when your brother played with the Yankees, it was 154.
I was going to say it was in the
A little
150s,
a
wasn't
little
it?
bit less, but even so, I mean,
Now, one thing they don't do that they used to do years ago. Years ago, they
Doubleheaders.
played doubleheaders
yeah, they don't.
on Sunday afternoon.
No, you're not getting. There's no twofers.
Yeah,
No.
They want to make sure they're separate games,
Separate
and that's why they develop day-night doubleheaders.
Yeah, the day
Play
night
during the
doubleheaders,
day
they'll
and
have
play
it.
night.
And
Clean
there's
the
not-
place out.
Right, and most of those are almost, if you really look at them sometime, I don't think there's even too many scheduled. You know, maybe
Maybe due to rainouts.
Due to rainouts,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. When they know they've got to get another game in, rather than keeping them in town for another day, they'll play that day-night doubleheader, or they have to get going.
Do you know too many people who would go to the day game? I guess maybe people from out of town, and stick around and then go to
Go
the night game. Yeah.
But then again, a lot of people.
But then they have to pay probably 2 nights
You
for
got
hotel, motel.
Right. So the old. I know. I remember going to Wrigley Field and back in the 60s and watching doubleheaders, and boy, that was
Yeah.
That was
Usually on a Sunday afternoon.
Sunday
right?
afternoon. Yeah. Or maybe a holiday too. Remember
Yes,
they used to-
yeah, right,
they
like a
used to have a holiday.
July 4th doubleheader.
Doubleheader, right? Well, let's see what happened. First of all, we're going to open with Bradley basketball. They had a great week. They beat Evansville and Northern Iowa to crawl back up to the top, near the top of the echelon of Missouri Valley basketball. They're in third place. They're 5-2 in the league. They're 12-6 overall. They're having a good year, and they're only behind two teams. Missouri State is 7-0, so they're a couple games behind them. But Murray State is one of the two teams that has beaten Bradley, and they're behind Belmont, who's 6-2, so only really a half a game ahead of them. And that's the other team that beat Bradley. So they've lost to the two teams that are above them. But guess what? They're going to get both those teams to come to Carver Arena too, where I believe we're about 9-1 right now.
Yeah,
About-
we play well
play
at
well
home,
at
don't
home.
we?
Very well.
So far.
So far, right? And we'll continue hopefully. But anyway, we have to go on the road this Saturday and play I'd call it our arch rival, Illinois State. The war used to
That
be-
will not be
It
easy.
used to be called the War on 74. That won't be easy because they're right behind us. They're like 4-2. We're 5-2. They're in the league, and I think we're almost the same overall too, like 12-6. So that's a 1:00 game on Saturday. BU women basketball. They're having a good year. They're at Drake this Friday, 6 p.m. I think this is the second year of the coach, and they appear to be doing better than they had done some prior years. So good luck to them. And then they'll also be, as I say, they're at Drake on Friday at 6, and they'll stay out west a little bit and play Northern Iowa, go north a little bit, and play Iowa on Sunday, Northern Iowa at 2 p.m. NFL playoffs. Last night, Houston, the Texans 30, Pittsburgh, and Aaron Rodgers.
Did you watch any of the game?
I watched some of it, but
Yeah, I did too.
but
Aaron Rodgers looked very unhappy.
yeah,
Whole game, it
whole
looked
game.
like he was
Well,
ticked off.
He just and
But he has a 1-year contract, right,
I
with
think so.
Pittsburgh, and they say he may throw the towel in.
well, I think he's in his 40s, and he can run a little bit, but he's taken a lot of hits.
And he did last night. He took a couple of good hits.
And he's not real physical either. Some of these
Well, that's because of his age.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
What were you doing at 40?
40, I was just
Hanging out?
keeping score at the Riverman games.
Okay, yeah.
Going
Off
to
the
the
ice.
Chiefs games.
Yeah.
Talking to Pete. No, that's about it. But I'd like to run down the actual schedule for everybody, and we thank Kathy Reynolds, one of our sponsors, And she called in and let us know the Bears game has been scheduled for Sunday, this coming Sunday, which I believe is the 18th. They'll be playing at 5:30 in Chicago.
In Chicago?
In Chicago, yep. They're playing the Rams, yep. They're playing the Rams at 5:30.
Is one of the Harbaughs coach for the Rams, or is with the other?
The Chargers.
LA.
He's
Okay.
the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a little story too. John Harbaugh with Baltimore was fired over the weekend, and rumor has it
That
It's
coach
up.
for the Steelers may be gone
he
too.
may be gone too. Rumor has it that Harbaugh, if they fire the coach, they won't be happy in Green Bay losing to the Bears either.
Yeah, there is a rumor that
Harbaugh going to Green Bay, so
Right.
it might be a setup deal there for him to get fired one place and go. But most people will tell you at the major league level of all sports, you're hired to be
fired.
I mean,
yeah.
you will be fired at some point, unless you just hang it up yourself after a bad year.
What do you think, and not to interrupt your wonderful sports report this morning, what do you think historically, what coach was the most unjustifiably fired in any sport?
In any sport.
I'll give you my example.
Okay.
Joe Girardi.
Joe Girardi. Yeah.
He won the pennant, did he not, or the division?
Yeah.
But because he didn't get along with the owner.
Oh, this is when he was down with Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Exactly. The owner was barking at the official.
At
behind
the
him.
umpire, and Joe told him to shut up. You don't tell your boss to shut up, for
Well,
crying out loud.
No, but the owner should not be sitting that close to the team anyway,
No,
in
yeah.
my opinion. I mean, no.
They
there's
should
no
be
que-
up in the.
up in the press box
Yeah.
enjoying a prime rib sandwich or a turkey leg or something.
Some
and-
players might say, I'm glad we had our backs
Yeah.
covered by the president of the team. On the other hand, Joe Girardi said, I'm running the
Well, I think
operation on the
and Joe,
field.
in fact, I've wanted to tell some parents that sometimes too when I was in high school. No, because I mean, umpires are human, and I know Swede.
No, they're not. I disagree.
Well,
They're not human.
Swede, you yell too much.
Especially Swede.
Swede Galliard,
Yeah.
he'd turn the other way on you real quick, man.
He sure would.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another guy
And
that
enjoy doing it.
Yes, he did. Tell you another guy that was that way in basketball. Who do you think I'm
Joe
talking?
Starcevic?
Joe Starcevic. Boy,
bet.
he was playing with a red face the whole game, like he was upset or he had
yeah.
too much to drink. I don't know, but players didn't mouth off to Joe. He'd get a tea quicker, and he.
I won't tell you exactly what he did, but I'll never forget. I think I was in high school. I'm watching a game. Rich was over at Pekin, and these Pekin people somehow I ended up in the Pekin section, and they were just ripping on him.
Oh, they were rough. They were
so
rough.
one time he called a foul on him, and he went up kind of right, didn't go right to men, kind of went right by the Pekin fans, and put his hand up like he was going to wipe off his face, but he dropped a couple of fingers. So it was only one finger that was wiping across his face. Does that surprise you? I'll never forget that.
Is that right?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
not heard that story
Yeah,
before.
I hope I don't hurt some of his family, but I think they knew him pretty well too. He didn't take much heat from the.
Ed Murphy used to do sports on our program,
Yes,
I
he
believe
did.
every Tuesday morning
was
when we
good.
were out on
He was good.
university. And he was an official, and
Yes,
he
he was.
said that he made a key call in basketball. I'm going to say in a town like El Paso or sometimes Chenoa,
Chenoa,
and it went against the home fans.
Yeah.
He had to have a police escort
out of
to
town.
get out of town because people want to beat the crap out of him because he cost them, in their minds, a home game. And, I'm as critical as the next person. Alicia Butler had a reputation.
Oh, yeah.
God rest her soul, and he is.
Susie
that
Central,
she
you
used to, Susie Central, and she used to ride the officials. On the other hand, I wonder how many of us would be willing to officiate a
I did a
basketball
little
game.
bit. You and I both did a little
I did a little bit in
the
baseball,
Jour-
yeah,
the
but
Journal Star League and
Yeah.
that, but and I filled in occasionally after.
It's a
Thank-
tough occupation.
Well, you
My argument against NFL officials, they have too many older men in the game,
it's a young
and
game, boy.
it's a dangerous
fast.
game.
Well, I've seen them run over now.
Well, I saw a couple in the weekend that
It's not good.
got trounced,
Yeah, that's not.
and it's usually the umpire in the
umpires,
secondary
yeah,
and
right,
the
where the
defense.
linebackers are, right?
And
on
where
on
the big
defensive
guys
side.
are,
Referee's always on the offensive side.
Right.
Yeah, but no, you're going to get, people are crossing, the receivers are crossing.
Yeah.
But no,
They're in what they call harm's way.
and they've been, I saw at least one go down this past weekend too. But the other games scheduled on Saturday, there'll be two games, the Broncos and the Bills at 3:30, and then the Seahawks and 49ers at 7. And then on Sunday, you get the New England Patriots and the Texans at 2, and like we mentioned, the Bears and the Rams at 5:30. So we'll see what happens in those. And that puts you at the if there's 4 games, you're at the quarterfinals, I guess, the quarterfinals. And then eventually
Oh,
you
you're
get-
talking about the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 teams left. So good luck.
I think the Bears have a pretty good
They
chance.
got a chance. Like we were saying.
I don't think the Rams were as good as the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
why you
we'll
play
see.
them now. And
Who is the quarterback? Is it Stafford that's the quarterback for the Rams?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Well, and that's sports.
Like I
over
say,
here.
give me one more second.
No, I'll give you one more minute, maybe
One
2
more
minutes.
minute.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
not
free
much.
this morning.
But anyway,
It
the
was
Peoria
special.
Rivermen are on a roll. I don't believe they've lost in this month of January or in 2026.
They're hot.
They're hot. They won 2 more games on the road this past weekend over Birmingham down in Alabama this past weekend. So now they're in first place in the Southern Professional League, 3 points ahead of Huntsville. And they will be in Quad Cities on Friday, then home games against Quad City here Saturday night at 7:15 and then Sunday afternoon at 3:15. NHL action last night. The Blackhawks are still having trouble scoring. They got beat by the Edmonton Oilers 5-1. Carolina will be at St. Louis tonight at 6:30, and Calgary will be in Chicago again for a home game for the Blackhawks on Thursday. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria and on live on YouTube.
What's Coach Trudeau's secret?
Hardworking, very hardworking.
He number one, in, like in all sports, he's pretty good at recruiting.
Well,
you've got to be a good coach,
you hit
but
the nail
you've got
on the
to
head.
know how
That's
to
the
recruit.
most important thing,
Yeah.
right? And getting, the way a lot of people talk, getting the right people on the bus too. You'll take a guy that might be a very good player, but he's cancerous to the locker room or to the team. He'll dump.
I think that's Contreras' problem, who's with the Cubs, and then the Cardinals. They got rid of him. I think he's a bad influence in the locker room.
And be honest, I'm not afraid to say it. With Trudeau, it's his way or the highway.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
And they play as a team.
I tried that on the show, and it didn't work.
Didn't work.
I said, "See you, Roger."
Well, that's good. Hey,
That could be it.
appreciate our fine listeners. Thank you.
All right, good
Right on
job.
time.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
To every referee, umpire, and judge in high school sports, we want to say, we see you.
We see everything you do for us that goes unnoticed.
We see the positive role models that you are.
We see the way you get unfairly criticized just for doing your job.
The truth is, we couldn't play without you.
So thank you for investing your time in us.
Thank you for protecting the integrity of the game, no matter what.
We hope you always know how much we appreciate you.
Because without you, this is just recess. It's not really a game.
Thank you for always making it possible for us to play the sports we love.
Want to serve the students in your community? Sign up to become an official at highschoolofficials.com.
Well, there are. That means let's update our headlines if we can. And it's brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. You'll never know when you or someone you love will need help recovering from a health problem. And that's where we call on Spoon River Home Health, because they've been serving families with nurses, therapists, and home care assistants for over 30 years. You can reach them today at 309-245-0723. Terry has our headlines.
The cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul and the state of Minnesota have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law. Attorney generals for Illinois and Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and Border Patrol agents. They claim agents engage in unlawful and violent tactics in violation of the 10th Amendment and federal statutes. Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigation started in 2022. They're still rioting in Iran as President Trump warns the government of serious consequences. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oaklawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who is disabled. Peoria's fire department is receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. The money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local officials. Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and hasn't been seen since. She's 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that could help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131. The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations is expanding. Health officials in some states are opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended a change in what vaccines are administered to newborns. We'll discuss those recommendations with Dr. Gene Sidler at 7:15 this morning. In another program note, we'll learn more about the Office of Peoria County Circuit Clerk at 7:30 when we talk with Bobby Spears, who is the Circuit Clerk. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, and now let's take a check of the weather brought to you by Kyle Varnold. He's an insurance professional who can shop around on your behalf to find the right coverage at the right price. And he's available today at 309-682-0519. Let's take a look at the weather. It'll be mostly cloudy and windy today, and a little warmer. We're up to 52. Tonight, cloudy and 29. Tomorrow, we have a chance for morning flurries. It'll be windy with falling temperatures reaching 26 by 4 tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night's low 14. Thursday, increasing cloudiness and cold. We're only going to get up to 29. Snow showers likely Thursday night with a low 25. And Friday, chance for afternoon snow showers and a high of 37. Right now, we're up to 38 degrees. Well, we're warming up, ladies and gentlemen. There you have the news and the weather on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Well, we're moving along on this beautiful Tuesday morning, the 13th of January. You know, this young lady that walked out of the hospital
Oh, it's such sad.
is kind of a sad story.
It's very
But
sad.
it kind of reminds me a little bit about a story that we had, and it sparked controversy, and I think it probably resulted in a lawsuit against a local hospital where a patient walked out of the mental health unit and disappeared and was found dead later on, blaming the hospital for not notifying. But you know, when you're an adult, you don't have the rights or, frankly speaking, the responsibility once they walk out. And that's one of the problems with drug rehabilitation. People who enter a drug rehab program,
Seem to do okay.
if they decide after 24 hours, 48
wanna be
hours,
there.
they walk out. And Dr. Gene Sidler, who used to be part of the medical staff at the Proctor facility out there that has an excellent reputation, can talk further on it. But that's one of the frustrations of people working in drug rehab. And the same way we could talk to Josh Bradshaw of Advanced Medical Transport about using Narcan to revive drug patients. I think he has said on this program they've saved the lives, and maybe 2 weeks later they're saving the same guy or same person over again. Well, let's talk about something that's a little bit happier. And then as I got to thinking this morning about changes that have taken place over the years, a lot of the retail stores have closed thanks to Amazon primarily. And I got to thinking, I was going to ask you, unless our listeners do the same thing, if they want to join in at 309-966-4044. What store do you remember most that was your favorite store that you may go to on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon after church and just walk around, maybe buy something and maybe not buy something? What was your favorite store 40, 50 years ago?
Bergner's.
And why was that?
Just because you'd go and, you're right, you wander. And of course, back then, they still sold records. So you could
That's
go.
right.
they had
Was,
everything.
and it was downstairs in Sheridan Village, wasn't it? Wasn't it in the lower level,
The
the
sports was
record
down there.
store?
No, I remember it more the first floor, kind of back near what we called the back entrance.
Yeah. No, that was-
Okay.
I know what you
And
mean
it
by the back end.
I remember the back entrance being predominantly men's clothing, but I don't remember.
It
Were
was-
you even further back or not
Yeah,
as far
yeah,
back?
further
Okay,
back.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And I could roam for hours through there looking through the records and that. And then, yeah, you'd go and you'd try on clothes and shoes.
To me, it was amazing, and I got a ditto on.
You agree
no,
with the
no,
Bergers?
yeah, Roger. When I didn't move here till 1963, summer of '63, so.
But
it-
when did Burgers close?
Oh,
That Bergner's?
Yeah,
we're talking about the one in Sheridan Village.
Sheridanville, yeah.
Yeah.
What, 2000?
Let's
I
say
think in the
2000.
2000s, I
So
think.
I mean, I spent my mother even worked part time after all the kids were in
At Burgers?
had burgers. Well, you know, they had quite a deal, I think, to sell. It was a sales pitch for Bergner's. They
Did they
give
get
the
what?
workers a 10%. I remember my dad used to say about twice a week, "Hey, you know, forget the 10% and just come home after you work." You know, I mean, yeah, if you end up, and you know, like as well as I, you always,
And they knew when there was
sales.
a pair that it was on sale. Sure,
yeah.
they would
Sale,
take
and they
advantage
get
of it.
Well, yeah. Well, I've heard her say that. Hey, it was on sale, and they got 10% off too. I mean, come on, that's shopping. But that's part of the good shop. But no, Bergner's was mine too, no question about it. You know, you had the talking Santa Claus at Christmas
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah.
But you know, I remember going downtown a little bit.
The talking, you mean the talking tree? I
Yeah,
believe.
talking tree is what I meant. Yeah.
The talking Santa. But they did have Santa.
They had Santa
who was
there.
alive and
Oh,
talk and
he
well.
did well. But you know, downtown, even in the early '60s, was still going. But being kind of new to the area, and living even north, living out on Teton Drive off of Knoxville,
Mhm.
you know, we didn't go downtown that much.
No, why would you? When you
What-
had
when you had, yeah,
Sheridan
my
Village
mother
right
loved
there.
shopping at Sheridan Village, and they had everything you needed. And you had your restaurants. You know, even farther north, you had the good Hager's, and then you had what was they had a buffet too, a buffet out there too, for a number of years. That was pretty good.
out there in Sheridan Village.
No, out even farther from
Oh, Heritage House.
Heritage House, right? I mean, it just seemed like that's where we went to church either at St. Vincent's or St. Thomas, and so this. But Bergner's, without a doubt, was the one I enjoyed going. And I know you've got your good memories of the.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I remember I would pick my mother up at her house, Dad and Mom's house off of Glen, on at Bigelow and Ivy Lane.
Okay.
And I would take her to the basement of Sheridan Village because they had
Gets her
a
got her.
hairdresser.
Yep.
And
I did
but
too.
to
I
get
did
there,
also.
you had
Those
to,
terrible steep steps.
right.
They were steep
And-
and narrow.
And you know what? I learned belatedly that she was negotiating those stairs. So when I would take her there, I'd get out of the car, I'd pull up. It was in the back.
Well, we called
You-
that the side entrance.
Okay,
That-
all right, I'll
because-
take your word for
because
it.
there weren't many
The back
parking
one was on
spots.
the other side.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Any rate, then I started making sure she got down. But when I would come back, she said, "I'll see you in an hour." And I'd come. She'd be waiting for me because she is of German stock, and
Walk up
she
herself. She didn't need that
she
help.
would. And
I got
that
it.
was always a pleasant memory of doing that for my mom. Other than that, as both of you identified, it just was a neat store. I would do a lot of Christmas shopping for my wife in the women's department because the clerks were very helpful. And when I needed a new suit or a sport coat,
Somebody that back there helping.
yeah, and they had guys. There was one guy
you
that,
even knew him all the time.
yeah, exactly
knew
right, Mike. You had something.
Yes, the Sheridan Village Bergner's closed in 2018.
Oh man.
Was it
Wow.
really?
I would thought it was
I knew it was quite a long time.
2018.
It opened in
that's only-
19
That's 7-8 years ago.
opened in 1957.
Yeah. See, it was shopping at Sheridan Village. Yeah. Parking's free.
Yeah. Well,
San Luis, you'll see.
you got the commercial.
the station that's guaranteed to make you smile.
1960, this commercial.
Now look, couldn't we just tell the folks how nice it is to Christmas
the
shop
big
at
sign
Sheridan
over there.
Village?
Oh, no, this Christmas chorus costs us a lot of money. We gotta use them.
All right, but you better hurry. We only have 30 seconds.
Sing, chorus.
Christmas shopping at Sheridan Village is fun and easy too. Stores are open till 9 each night.
Couple
with
Chevys.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
about 55 on the right and about a
Start shopping right away
50 maybe on
at
the left.
Sheridan Village Wonderland. Take your family out today.
I'll see, wasn't that pretty?
Yeah, but let's not use them next time. It's too long. I'm getting tired of
think
being
we
cut
should
off.
some-
All right, now remember, we only have 30 seconds, and we have a
some
special
cold
interview
weather
with
there.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
There's the
Reindeer.
entrance.
Oh,
Right
that's
there,
silly.
isn't it?
Reindeer can't talk.
Yeah, you just wait till the chorus sings, and I'll show you one that can.
See, remember they didn't have doors either.
Stores are open till 9 each night with loads of gifts for you. Parking is free and Santa you'll see. Start shopping right away at Sheridan Village Wonderland. Take your family out today.
All right, now where's this Rudolph? We're almost out of time.
Right here, and he can really talk. Rudolph, will you say a few words?
That's very nice, Roger.
And some Prospect Furniture Store. I forgot. They were there. Later on, they were replaced by Cohen's.
Cohen's, that's what I
And
remember.
we used to
Cohen's.
shop at Cohen's.
Nice spot.
They had a
Yeah.
card store.
I
And
like the card. I'd go in the card store too. And
oh, absolutely.
they had the candy in there too. if I remember.
Fannie Mae was
I
there.
think
Fannie Mae.
Roger Burke Jewelers, I
Yeah,
believe
was
they
the
were
jewelers,
there
Right?
as well.
There was
Kresge's,
one
you
right
notice
there.
Kresge's, you could enter Kresge's either from the parking lot in front or the
In the
back.
back, yeah.
It was easy to,
Get to.
it was just really a neat store. And you know, the transition of retail businesses was pretty interesting because with the development of Sheridan Village, downtown started to deteriorate.
Oh, it
Stores
did.
said, you know, parking is free, and that was a appeal to shoppers.
And I think just parking in the parking lot seemed better than
Rather than
trying
driving
to
around downtown.
finding a space. And
But then
find
what
the
happened to
space.
Sheridan Village? They opened Northwoods, and that had an impact on Sheridan Village,
Sure did.
and it started to deteriorate. And Sheridan Village today isn't what it used to be because they just don't have the retail stores, and the situation is the same
used to be
for
the bank-
downtown
There was
Peoria.
a bank in there too for a long time.
Yes, they did.
Sheridan
Sheridan Village Bank.
Yeah, Sheridan Village.
Right out, the
Yeah.
first one on the left as you
And
came
Baskin
into the-
Robbins, when you came
Baskin
on that corner,
And
Baskin Robbins was
Baskin
there,
Robbins was
the
right
bank.
there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like Co-op Taping Records was there for a while.
Right on
Yeah.
the corner too. On the
Corner.
other,
Which-
if you start going
There
into
was that-
the
And you remember the pizza place that was there?
yeah.
No.
That was named after the Bradley basketball player.
That-
It begins with a P or something.
Malnati's.
Malnati's.
Yeah, it was there in the
exactly right.
80s, and I wasn't here. in the
Malnati's
80s.
pizza. Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was more like the 80s. Yeah.
all right, and so then you go from back then, and life was a lot. You know, Sheridan Village at Christmas time was just really neat. As you said, the talking Christmas tree, and they had reindeer in the back of the store
Yeah.
that the kids could see. And when they wrapped Christmas presents, if they used Bergner's paper, it was free.
It
And
was
if you
silver,
wanted
there was
the
always silver.
the
I
stuff.
utilized that
Okay.
more than once.
Oh, I think we all did. Because, you know, you didn't have to go home and wrap your gifts. You just took them up to the second floor.
Especially if it was
And
like
then-
December 24th too.
Well, that's
We won't
that's
bring that up.
that's another story. Okay, so fast forward to today. What is your go-to store to shop, window shopping, as we called it years ago?
I don't.
Today,
I don't
you know?
see that. We don't. Even Christmas, and I don't blame her. You know, it's 90%. We get something every day from Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's convenient. It's fast.
Well, I must be the oddball of the three then, because
I don't go
I kind of like to wander around Ross. Ross is a discount store, and they have one right over here,
Yes, they
don't
do.
they?
Yep.
And their prices are very low. They had a wide variety of. I know I was shopping for some winter boots, and I found exactly what I wanted, and the price was very reasonable. But it wasn't my size, and I wound up going to Academy Sports, found out that they had a sale on winter boots, and got a pair that if I'd gone somewhere else, and I won't mention the shoe store, that one is $79, $100+. I got a perfect pair at Academy for $26, which was a heck of a deal. So it's apparently the two of you don't wander
Well,
around every now and
I
then.
did a little more when I was younger. I kind of like TJ Maxx because it was kind of a challenge.
That
to
was
shop.
across from Sheridan Village, wasn't
right
it?
across.
It was an evergreen.
Now,
store.
what was that? A discount store as well,
Yes.
or
It
Yeah,
was a
it was
discount,
discount.
but it was like most discount places. If you really did some shopping, you would find some quality names, you know, that I thought were pretty good deals. You know what I'm saying?
sure?
And I used to do some Christmas shopping there, but it's just my wife handles most of the Christmas, and you know,
Well,
I
that's the way
told,
it is
in
most
fact,
times.
I'm the point where I told, honey, I don't want it. I don't need it. Tell everybody, I don't need another sweater. I can't get any more in my storage.
People
box.
don't wear sweaters anymore. I got a closet full of
No,
sweaters.
you know, shirts.
I'll wear one with Bradley colors,
Yeah.
something of that nature.
But I've gotten to the point where we have to actually clean out our closet, you know, in the spring to put the spring and summer stuff in, and bring the other stuff. We got a place we hang them up downstairs. Yeah, because
You run out of
it's
space
a
after a while.
1965 house, and the closets aren't very big, you know. And heck, now in some of these places you got closets that go for one side of the wall to the other. Mine is in our room, the one that I have. My wife's a little bit bigger, but mine is, you know, maybe 4 or 5 feet, maybe, and you can't.
You know, you're talking about stores. A tip of the hat to developers of Westlake.
Yeah.
Westlake hit the skids when they lost. How many grocery? Randall's was there. They had a record store there, I think,
And
or
then
an
they had
appliance
didn't they
store.
kind of have like a specialty, a grocery store, a little bit.
Yes, Whole
that's
Foods,
different.
was it
Well,
Whole
I think
Foods?
it's Whole
Whole
Foods.
Foods,
Yeah.
it was pretty
And-
good,
and-
but it was, obviously it was a little
There's a
bit.
pretty much of a niche type of grocery store, but it hit on a hard time. Look at it now.
Yeah.
It's alive and
coming
well,
back, yep.
and very up to date, and great use. Chuck E. Cheese had been. You remember Toys R Us was there, and
Oh, yeah.
they hit the turf as well. But boy, they've done such a outstanding
The
job
one
of
that hits
being
hit
viable.
the turf along with Sheridan Village is the one we were just talking, where TJ Maxx is.
Yes.
They've moved
Oh,
out.
oh,
They called that Evergreen
is
Square,
Evergreen
didn't they?
Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember they had, at one time they
Is
had.
the anchor store Kroger's there?
Oh, I would
It-
say.
Pretty
it's
much.
still there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's really left.
And then what used to be the Berean bookstore
Yeah.
is now that Oak Street something health thing.
Healthcare,
They moved
yes,
into
right.
there.
Right.
And they used to have a Halloween store there.
Well,
Every
yeah.
Well, that's
Halloween.
They were
they
going
move around.
season-
They
season-
have,
Yeah,
they
Big
behind-
Brothers and empty
they'll
storefront.
come in.
They'll be there at Halloween for that matter. Weather-wise today, mostly cloudy
like
and
that
windy.
for a month.
A little warmer. We're going to get up to 52 degrees. Right now, we're at 38 degrees, and time for, as usual, about this day, this time every day, our pet tip of the day.
Good.
Today's pet tip is brought
Well,
to
that
you
was
by
good.
Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. The cat's whiskers are an amazing feline instrument. In addition to relaying their mood or temperament, whiskers allow cats to navigate in the dark. Those whiskers also help them measure openings so they know they can easily fit through or to find some other entrance. By that I mean if their whiskers, fully fanned, can fit through an opening, then so can the cat's body. One more interesting talent of whiskers is they can help cats control their prey. What happens is, typically, when a cat catches a mouse or other prey, he will keep it under control with his paws. But cats also use their whiskers by moving the whiskers forward to form a type of net in front of its mouth. The sensitivity of the whiskers allows the pet to feel through vibrations which way the prey is attempting to run. So if you're looking for a good mouser in your barn, pick one with nice long whiskers and a thick, dense coat of fur. If you just need a sweet lap cat, then a cat like mine would be great. My little fella is a Siamese in a Maine Coon body. His whiskers are very short and curled, and he only has about 4 whiskers total. But I can say from experience that that has not stopped him from catching a small bird and bringing it into the house the other day. Oh my goodness, feathers were everywhere. I praised him, but I also rescued the little bird and set it free. So now you know all there is to know about whiskers. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
You know, thank you to Louis Linder, the thought just occurred to me. What is it more expensive to buy food for a cat or for a dog? And I realize that would vary according to the size of the dog.
Of the dog,
There's
right.
a lot more feeding a Great Dane or a Lab than a Chihuahua or
Toy poodle.
or a poodle and so forth. But if we were able to compare apples with apples, and I'm not sure we're doing that with this. What's more expensive to raise, a cat or a dog? Have any idea?
Overall, I'd have to say the cats because
You got that litter as well as
say the kitty
food.
litter.
Yeah.
Right. And that gets very, very, it's unbelievable how ungodly expensive it's become just for kitty litter.
What is cat litter? What is
It's
it?
supposed to be, well, there's all kinds of ingredients now. They have walnut shells. They've got
Walnut shells.
crystals, silicone crystals. They've got still clay. They've got the old-fashioned clay that's not in the non-clumping. See, I can go on.
Yeah, you could go on
and on and
yeah.
on.
You've had cats for a long time.
I've had cats since I was 10 years old.
How many cats? How many cats do you have now?
I'm down to 3.
Down to 3.
Yes.
You know, we had 3 at our house. One I bought for a grandson that showed little to no interest after he said he wanted one, and so Zach and his wife, who used to live with me, and I could always tell when I rolled my dumpster out for the garbage man if there's kitty litter in. It weighs a ton.
It's heavy, yes.
You know, thank goodness my dumpster had wheels on it. You know, I was raised where we had garbage cans. And
So me too.
Yeah, and these
had
poor
to carry 'em
garbage.
or drag 'em. And
Yeah, and these garbage guys, there used to be 2, weren't they, on
yeah,
a
there used to be
truck?
2 on a truck.
And they would throw the garbage cans into the truck and empty them. Now they're like postmen. They ride around and press a button, and the clams come out and raise it up and dump it, and they set it down. It's pretty neat. But getting back to the dumpsters, that stuff, if you waited and threw it all in after maybe 2 weeks instead of 1, I felt like I had to get a forklift
it's
to
very
take
heavy.
it to the curb.
And yes, I mean, when I started out, I had 1 cat, so I had 1 litter box. Well, now when you've got 3, they say you're supposed to have
One for each.
1 for each plus a spare one.
I'm sure.
Oh, really?
So I actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now I've got 6 litter boxes spread around the house.
You're kidding.
Because,
wow.
yes.
Sounds like a Motel 6 for cats.
It pretty much is, yes.
Are cats, regardless of what type, the same eaters in terms of the amount of food they eat, or does it vary?
No, some graze.
Some are finicky.
Yep. Some won't, if they've been raised on the dry food. I'm trying to.
Wet food.
No, they'll walk right away from it. Like, but I'm trying to give you a special treat,
Yeah.
and they
Hey, come back here.
Yeah, this is special, to give it a shot. And
get
he
your
just walks,
steak.
and he tries like he's burying it. That's the sign they don't want something when they
Sure.
try to bury it. And then he walks away, and it's like, well, gee whiz.
You know, I remember raising dogs. I've been around dogs my entire life, where you always ordered dog food by the can. And now they have these bags that you get, and boy, have they increased in price.
Yes.
Like in the last couple of years, gone up $4 and $5 per bag. But we also, I think Rival, one of the dog foods that was in the
Rival, Alpo.
can.
Elbow.
Yeah. I think
Alpo,
Alpo was usually a little pricier than what we had.
It
for
was
that
top of the line.
Yeah, top of the line. Here, dog, eat this. This is steak, for crying out loud. Anyway, it's top of the hour for news, weather, and sports on WAZU FM 90.7, wonderful Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube. Good to see everybody on YouTube. Hi. And in the next hour, we're going to talk to Dr. Gene Sidler about vaccine recommendations. And we'll also meet and greet our good friend, Bobby Spears, Peoria County Circuit Clerk. So stay tuned. Love seeing everybody. kind of like this bumper music. But Strange is the title of it. Yeah. I don't know what that.
Little bounce to it.
And love the fact that our weather is brought to you by a well-known Peoria businessman, Steve Sink, managing partner. He's with the organization, the company, PHX Affiliates. He's been a business broker, as you know, for more than 20 years. And you can learn more, particularly if you're interested in buying a business or maybe selling your business, by calling Steve at 309-696-8508. He'll take good care of you. Weather-wise, it's going to be mostly cloudy today, a little on the windy side, a little warmer, up to 52. The overnight low tonight, 29. Tomorrow we have a chance for morning flurries. It'll be windy. Falling temperatures tomorrow afternoon, reaching 26 by 4. And tomorrow night's low, 14 nippy degrees. Thursday, increasing cloudiness and cold, a high of 29. Snow showers likely Thursday night. The overnight low, Thursday night, 25. Friday, you have a chance for afternoon snow showers and a high of 37. Right now, we're up another degree, 39 degrees. Now, with our lead story, here's Terry.
Well, it's back to lawfare for Democrats in Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Those governments have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law.
And Attorney General for Illinois and the city of Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and Border Patrol agents. They claim agents engaged in unlawful and violent tactics, and that's in violation of the 10th Amendment and federal statutes.
Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigation started in 2022.
Yeah, I didn't realize that lawsuits date that far back, but good for them. They're still rioting in Iran as President Trump warns that government of serious consequences if they continue to shoot and jail people. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran.
In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oak Lawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who is disabled.
Yeah, I talked to someone who lives in Oak Lawn Estates last night, and he viewed the demolition, you might say, and it's a terrible scene. A lot of people, he said, were living in, it's really called a double-wide trailer, and so I hope folks will go to the GoFundMe page and help those folks out. Meanwhile, Peoria's fire department receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. Money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local fire officials.
Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and hasn't been seen since. She's about 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that could help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131.
The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations is expanding. Health officials in some states, including Illinois, are opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee, which is a part of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, recommended a change in what vaccines are administered, particularly to newborns. Following our news, weather, and sports, we're going to talk about that subject with Dr. Gene Sidler, so stay tuned.
In another program note, we'll learn more about the Office of Peoria County Circuit Clerk at 7:30 when we talk with Bobby Spears, who is the Circuit Clerk.
And as a look at some of the stories, now we're going to turn to WCBU, brought to you by Sam Lilly and Associates. Sam is the Dean of Insurance Agents in our Central Illinois area. He's been helping seniors now for over 40 years, and he provides a personalized service one-on-one, and he certainly is the Dean of Insurance Agents. Sam Lilly and Associates, you can reach Sammy at 309-245-4374. Now more news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Ben Howell. The Illinois Department of Public Health reports 14 measles cases this past year. That's down dramatically from the previous year, which saw 67 cases. Jennifer Suss specializes in pediatric medicine at the department.
We certainly would have liked it to be 0 cases, but measles is here in the United States, and so we're working to make sure that everyone knows that they should get vaccinated because, again, this is a preventable illness.
This comes as the U.S. saw the highest level of cases in over 30 years, according to the CDC. Suss says more patients are opting out of vaccinating their children before starting school for non-medical reasons, like religious rules. A state legislative oversight committee is allowing the Illinois Department of Corrections to make rules that allow it to scan and digitize mail of those in custody. It's considered a blow to prison reform advocates, according to Capital News Illinois. The rule was originally introduced under pressure from Republican legislators and the Prison Workers Union after a series of substance exposures in the fall of 2024 left correctional staff hospitalized. The policy has been in effect on an emergency basis since August. The department sought to make the rule permanent, describing it as a necessary safety precaution to keep drugs and dangerous substances from being smuggled into prisons via the mail. And the USDA has shared more details about how it will dole out $11 billion in one-time payments to row crop farmers. The aid is meant to offset trade disruptions, high production costs, and low crop prices. Payment rates are based on the number of acres farmers planted last year, along with estimated production costs and prices for specific commodities. Nick Paulson, an agriculture economist at the University of Illinois, says the one-time payments only provide short-term relief.
Prices for most row crops have not significantly improved from what farmers are currently dealing with for their 2025 crop. And we don't see production costs declining to the extent needed to get farmers back into the black.
An analysis by the American Farm Bureau shows the Midwest and Corn Belt states will receive over 60% of the funding. I'm Ben Howell.
Thanks, Ben. Now it's time for sports. And standing by with all the latest scores and stories, the one and only Mike Olson. Good morning, Michael.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I'd like to start out with Bradley basketball. They're having a very fine year. They've moved up to third place now after wins over Drake and UNI at home, and now they got to hit the road. They got to go to Evans. We're talking men's basketball now. They have to go to Evansville on Tuesday. That's tonight, 7 o'clock, the 13th. And then they'll be home. No, they'll be on the road again. Pretty much it's home for 2, on the road for 2, home for 2, on the road for 2. And then Saturday they got the War on 74. That'll be at ISU at 1 o'clock. So good luck to the men's team. The women's team doing fine also. They'll be at Drake this Friday at 6, and like I said, then on they're out that way anyway, west of here. Go north a little bit to Cedar Falls, and they can play Northern Iowa on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Football game last night, Monday night football, hosted a playoff game. The Houston Texans 30 and Aaron Rodgers Pittsburgh Steelers 6.
Who are you rooting for in that game?
Well, I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
Thank you, sir.
And my wife is even more animated about it.
There's just something about him.
Well, he got into that dark stuff,
He was living in a cave for a while, wasn't
he wouldn't go to opening camps and stuff.
I was a little jealous. He was dating Danica Patrick for a while.
Yeah,
that didn't go anywhere.
No, and then
she did.
Now he's
she
got
left.
kind of a mystery wife.
They say he's married, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know that, do we?
Right.
We don't know. The shadow knows, but we don't know.
But no, so now the quarterfinals are set, and if I could give those to you real quick here.
I love your script.
On the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills will go at it this coming Saturday at 3:30, and then also on Saturday there will be a 7 o'clock game between the Seattle Seahawks, who are playing well, and San Francisco 49ers that are playing well. And then Sunday, the early game is the 2 o'clock game. That's the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans. And then 5:30 up in Chicago. Chicago gets another home game. They're the higher seeded team.
That's great.
Yeah, well, you play that 17 game schedule, and the better you do, you're going to get more home games in the playoffs, and they are beneficial. They've helped pull the Bears through in about 7 games, it seems like.
No, you're right.
In the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but they did it again. And then the Bears will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams on next Sunday, and that game is at 5:30 our time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just in looking down the road, the semifinals are the next Sunday, then the 25th, the last Sunday of January, the 25th, and then you take 2 weeks off to get the hype build up for the Super Bowl, and they go to February 8th then, believe it or not, for the Super Bowl. So a lot of action coming up there, and one thing about the NFL, something's going on all the time, whether it's be training camps, optional practices, draft. They do a great job promoting the league. Peoria Rivermen are back in first place. 2 road wins down in Birmingham, Alabama, this past weekend. They're now 3 points ahead of second place Huntsville. And this coming week they'll be in Quad Cities on Friday, come right back and play here on Saturday night at 7:15 and Sunday afternoon at 3:15. So good luck to the Rivermen. NHL action last night. Edmonton Oilers 5, Chicago Blackhawks 1. The Blues were off last night. They'll play tonight. Carolina Hurricane against the Blues in St. Louis at 6:30. And then on Thursday, the Blackhawks will go at it again. They're at home to the Calgary Flames at 7:30. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria, and also live on YouTube. Thank you.
As usual, a great job by the one and only Mike Olson. I want to mention, before we talk to Dr. Gene Sidler, who's patiently waiting on the line, to compliment a young man. We stopped last night for a bite to eat on the drive-in at Arby's in Morton.
Yeah, I like
And, sometimes when you speak through the speakers and so forth, you hear someone going, yes, I'd like to, a kid's meal. This guy was clear, articulate. Rob is his name. We found out his name. And they have a kid's meal, and that's what we order, or I order.
I do that at Culver's.
Yeah, because, first of all, I don't eat a lot anymore. The body has not shrunk, but the stomach has, and that do make a difference. But this Rob guy couldn't have been nicer, and when we got to the window, it was just a pleasant, really a neat guy, and he gave us a 20% discount, I guess, because I'm old. And when I left,
they
I
call
mean,
that
I
a
couldn't.
senior discount, Roger.
Yes, okay, I like that better. At any rate, I just want to tip my hat. Sometimes you don't have the best. Not everybody is patient with older Americans or seniors, as you said. But he was so kind and so pleasant. Turns out he's a regular listener to WAZU. And so he said, I'll be listening tomorrow morning. I said, well, we'll give you a nice plug. And could I have another 20% discount? And he said no.
I always thank the people that, take your order at every place, and I tell them to get their interest a little bit. I said, if you weren't working, I couldn't be buying. And, people.
Well, that was nice.
And then I've even, if I got a couple dollars, I'll even tip them a gift.
Good for you. I never thought about it. I did do that on one occasion.
Right. But I found, there's the Steak and Shake that's on University. Of course, the one on North University is closed.
Long gone, yeah.
Right, but the one that's down there
By Channel 31.
Yes, exactly. By Forest Hill, I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
Channel 31.
Well, we're in the neighborhood.
And there's a lady there that works quite a bit. At least when we go in at supper times. My wife likes that chili mac and that.
So that's what you get?
For her, and I like the steak burger. I like the
Okay. Hey, we have Dr. Gene Sidler on the line. Good morning, Gino.
I like that Gino.
Is he there?
Don't hear him yet. Gene.
Okay, let's, all right, let me push this button. I thought I pushed that button. Good morning. Okay, let's see. Let's try this. And that. You know what? I'm going to have to reestablish that. And while I do, let's hear this important message. So don't go away.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
In the woods, just outside of town.
Oh, not surprising. You've got your home. Bears have theirs.
Yeah, but see, this wasn't just any bear. This bear was wearing jeans and a hat, as in Smokey Bear.
Jeans and a hat. That's definitely Smokey. What exactly did he have to say?
Well, we were about to head home, after having a bonfire.
Oh, I can guess where this is going.
Right. See, Smokey told me the fire wasn't actually out. He said if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
That's true. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Wow, no kidding?
I'm a forest ranger. We never kid.
Sorry.
That was a joke.
Oh.
Get your Smokey on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
That's kind of a spooky public service announcement. We have Dr. Gene Sidler, I think, on the line. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Gene.
Let's talk about vaccines. I know we've talked about it previously, but now it appears that there's somewhat of a dispute between some of the states, not that this is news, about they don't like the recommendations from the Immunization Practices Committee of the Centers for Disease Control, Prevention, etc. Kind of explain the dispute.
Well, the CDC has this panel of experts that gives advisory information about childhood vaccines, among other things. And previously, the panel had recommended, and it has been a recommendation for a number of years, that there are 17 different vaccinations of diseases that are recommended for children. And the current panel, and it's a almost entirely new group of experts now on the current advisory panel, has decided that we should cut this down a little bit, and they are now recommending 11 of these, and have put 6 of them aside, and recommended those only in certain instances. So now there's fewer childhood vaccines recommended. Now this was done because many of the vaccines that were switched are ones that just are very uncommon, very unlikely to affect children, and are usually, when they do occur, not fatal, and are diseases that the children recover from. And this plays into a different area of discussion, natural immunity versus vaccine immunity. We know that natural immunity may have some advantages and benefits and may be better in the long run than vaccine immunity, but with all the vaccines that are being given, children aren't developing natural immunity, and that may lead to problems later in life with being exposed to those diseases.
Yeah, there's some medical experts believe that the proliferation of vaccines has led to an increase in autism. There are some people say, no, the growth is more that we're better able to recognize it. What say you?
There's a variety of working theories here that the vaccinations in childhood could be contributory to autoimmune diseases, both in childhood and later in life, as well as now this question of contributing to autism spectrum. We just don't know. The studies haven't been carefully done. Most vaccine studies are done more for efficacy, meaning how effective they are, as opposed to long-term side effects. And those studies probably should be reevaluated, and in some cases are being reevaluated to see if there are issues of safety that compile over years of time.
Yeah. When you go to, and you can name Walgreens, CVS, any pharmacy, they're almost pushing you to get these shots for shingles, for respiratory diseases, tetanus, and I don't know, I think there's about 6 vaccines that they're pushing, and because they are pushing it, it raises at least my eyebrows to say, why are you pushing it? You've never pushed this before, and I assume it's because they make pretty good money from the government by pushing these vaccines.
Yeah.
Well, that is a concern, that there is a profit motive for giving vaccines, and so if they are recommended, and they have been recommended, so there's nothing wrong with maybe in cases that people haven't had the vaccine and need it, that can be made available more widely through pharmacies and as well as clinics. But yes, I suppose in a for-profit system that exists in the U.S., there's always that concern, and certainly it's a area for criticism, I suppose.
And of course, one of those is the flu, and I guess / influenza shot that you get. What do you consider, and what's the CDC consider, the end of, quote, the flu season? April, May, June, July, August?
Generally, it's somewhere in March. By the end of March would be probably the most common point where people would point to and say that the flu season is probably past at that point. But there are cases of flu that are found even on through the summer. Now, some of those are in individuals who have traveled out of the country and maybe to other parts of the globe that might still have susceptibility to the flu that is active. We just don't see very much of it after March.
And switching gears a little bit subject-wise, but still in your bailiwick, and that is the Supreme Court is expected today or sometime this week to make a decision on whether or not essentially men can participate in female sports. What do you think they're going to do, and what's your position?
Yeah, they're going to hear arguments, I guess, on two separate cases, but both of them are very similar cases of states that are fighting back against the Trump administration's mandate attempting to ban biological males in girls' sports. I think California is one of the states, I don't remember what the other state is, that's involved in suing the federal government over this. There's no question. And even most of the advocates for the trans community are now admitting that biological males, even after transition, even after hormone treatment and such, hormone blockers and so forth, still have significant physical advantages over females in most sports. That's just now reached a point where it's virtually undeniable. And so it raises the issue of two areas primarily. Is it cheating girls out of opportunities, out of scholarships that may go to girls for college sports and so forth? And is there a risk of injury and serious consequences from the participation of the biological males in women's sports? I think those are both areas that are going to be argued before the Supreme Court, and it'd be interesting to see and hear what some of those specifics are. They may bring up some studies and so forth, but really the only arguments that I'm hearing in favor of the biological males in women's sports is that it deprives them of opportunities because they believe that they are female and therefore want to participate in female sports. That's really kind of a weak argument when you look at how small the number is that we're talking about here, and that there are potentially other alternatives to give them the sports participation opportunities.
Yeah. Coach Olson, I was teaching physical education at Richwoods High School when they implemented. Thank you, Roger.
Mm-hmm.
We had co-ed classes, and it was kind of tough because there's no question, like you said, anybody will say there. Now, are there exceptions? There's exception to everybody, but there's just the general female strength and the general male strength is definitely different. Size, usually height, a little bit different too. So basically, I mean, I remember what most of us did that were in physical education at that time is we tried to, if we were, say, a basketball unit for 3 weeks, we would have, access to at least two gym floors or at least two courts or half court that, I did, soccer, we played a little bit more of, together. But you see most of the youth sports now that the girls will play, like say youth hockey up until about maybe they're 10. You know what I'm saying? And you can't hardly tell the difference at 10. But by the time they're 12 and 13, they're moving on, and they're getting into their girls. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that there's a difference, and I think it has to be from the safety standpoint more than anything. Especially the small girl that has to now go against the person, and I hope I'm not offending people, but it's there.
It's science.
It's science. Thank you.
Mike,
Thank you for covering me right.
You can't deny facts.
No, facts are
genetic differences. There's hormone differences, and you can try to blunt the hormonal differences with these hormone blockers. Right. And that's what many of the states that do allow the participation of biological men in
the physical.
But that still doesn't take away the advantages that have already developed in musculature and skeletal frame and in other areas of the body that just come from genetic, biologic, built-in factors that have been there since birth, and you just can't deny those. Those are there, and they're going to always
and they're going to be there, right?
And there's overlap. I'm not saying that every biological male is superior physically to every biological female. That's not the case. There's going to be overlap. Serena Williams, the great tennis player, could probably beat most men in tennis, but even she admits that, I think on a talk show, she admitted that if she played the top male tennis players, she would lose 6-0 to 6-0. And so it's just a matter of the overall biological differences between males and females, and I don't know where we've gotten to in science where we close our eyes to the facts because we are afraid to offend a small minority of the public.
Yeah, good point. Thank you for helping me too. Can we talk a little bit about the Bradley Braves? I just think they're having a great year, and they're behind two teams that are both the two teams that beat them, and now
actually they're tied with Belmont, Mike. They both have 5-2 records now. So
good. I had it at 4-2 on the Lays, but
yeah, they're tied for second now. Good. Belmont's a pretty good team and has a prettier overall record. They're 15-3 overall, to Bradley being 12-6, and so we'll see where that leads.
Okay, maybe that's right. When I looked at the standings, I probably didn't see how they were, why they were listed second versus third, right?
Yeah, they're listed second because of that overall record, I think.
But you're right. In the Valley, they're tied, so that's good. That's the most important thing.
And the men play tonight over in Evansville. For a long time, they had trouble winning in Evansville, but now in the recent years, they've done pretty well over there. And I think they're favored by 6 or 7 points in tonight's game, the Bradley men, and then they've still got some really tough games ahead of them coming up as well. You mentioned the Illinois State game on Saturday.
It's a 1 o'clock game. It seems.
The Illinois State game, 1 o'clock. Yeah,
1 o'clock.
Yeah, that seems.
Arena.
Boy, I tell you, it's probably for TV, but you'd like to see a Saturday night game. Boy, they sell.
Yeah, now Saturday night they would compete with the NFL again.
Okay,
so
there you go. You got it. You got it. Thank you.
At 1
you
o'clock.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, as usual, thank you,
Thanks,
Dr. Sidler. Any final thoughts?
Good talking to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Go Bradley, and the Bradley women off to a pretty decent start.
That's what I mentioned that too. Yeah, we're happy for them.
Now they have a tough game over at Drake, and then Northern Iowa on Sunday. Drake Friday, Northern Iowa on Sunday. That swing over in Iowa. Those two teams are always good. And Drake's having a little bit of an off year this year.
Changing coach
teams go, but we'll see if Bradley can compete over there. They usually come home with 2 losses on that Iowa trip.
We're not going to do it this year.
And a little reminder, you can get more information from BradleyFans.com.
Thank you, Roger.
And our Rivermen are doing well too. They moved up to first.
Wow, have they come on or what?
They have not lost in January.
Really playing great. Yeah.
So, I think sometimes we take for granted. How good our teams do in Peoria.
No, I don't take for granted. Every year is a different year.
Yeah.
Gene, thanks so much. Got news and headlines coming up. Bobby Spears is going to join us, Peoria County Circuit Court.
Man!
We will chat with you later. Okay?
Look at what he's got, Roger. He got some Mr. Donut. I'm sorry.
Can we also say
bye, guys?
Bye,
bye, Gene.
Thank you, Gene. Gee whiz, I thought it was Merry Christmas there for a while. We're going to talk to Bobby, but first let's get into the news and weather. This morning at the bottom of the hour brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley. For all your investment needs, check out Bob. He's available at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Now with the news. Here's Terry. Good luck, Terry.
Thank you. The cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. No, we get more steps and walk in around the other side. Anyway, states of Minneapolis and St. Paul and the state of Minnesota have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem in the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law. Attorneys General for Illinois and Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and border control agents. They claim agents engage in unlawful and violent tactics in violation of the 10th Amendment and federal statutes. Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigation started in 2022. They're still rioting in Iran as President Trump warns that government of serious consequences. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oaklawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who is disabled. Peoria's fire department is receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. The money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local officials. Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and hasn't been seen since. She's 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that could help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131. The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations is expanding. Health officials in some states are opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended a change in what vaccines are administered to newborns. Another program note, we're going to learn about the office of Peoria County Circuit Clerk when we talk with Bobby Spears, who's in the studio now.
Yeah, he was missing. He was missing for a while. But we found him.
Because he is the circuit clerk, so he knows what's going on. And those are the headlines.
All right, now a check of the weather. Did you want to say something, Bobby?
Well, I didn't come all this way up here and get lost to keep quiet, I guess. Thanks. First of all, thank you, Roger, for having me on. I know you are dying for people to come on your show to fill the time. And
well, you know what? We haven't talked with you for a long time. And I thought, you know what, let's get a hold of Bobby Spears and see what's going on in his office. And we're going to talk with you in just a moment, but first we want to do the weather, brought to you, of course, by our friends at Peoria Pet Crematory. The folks there, experienced professional, offering several dignified options when you lose your pet, and you reach them at any hour of the day or night, 7 days a week at 309-713-1898. Peoria Pet Crematory, people who care. We care about the weather. Mostly cloudy and windy today, a little warmer, 52. The high, the overnight 29. That's the low. Tomorrow, chance for morning flurries. It'll be windy with falling temperatures reaching 26 by 4 tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night's low 14. Right now, we're at 39 degrees. Now, you've been, and thanks for coming in, Bobby. You've been a part of the circuit clerk's office for how many years now?
23 years. This will be the 24th year on the end in November when I got sworn in, and I took over for my wife, as you recall. And I ran on the election on her off year, and the changes that have been, when I first started, first of all, I'd like to thank Roger for letting me come on today, and I know I'm kind of filling in for him and doing a good, and it's nice to be able to get on and tell the people outside the office of what we're doing and how we're handling things and how we progress over the years. This wouldn't be possible without really the county board standing behind me. Some of my decisions they probably thought were kind of out there, but ended up being one of the better things in the clerk's office. And I have an outstanding staff that is really 100% behind what I do and what I believe in, and they believe in the same thing. And it makes it easier. We've gone a long way from paper to paperless, and it's they always, when we were going to this transition, they've always said, we don't want to be paperless, we want to call it paper on demand, which basically now we are kind of paper on demand, but we are paperless through all the courtrooms and everything. And
that's cut down on your costs too, hasn't it?
Pardon me?
It's cut down on your expense and costs.
We have, we've gone from, when I first started, there were 64 employees, and we're down to 28 employees. Wow. And I'm very proud to say I've never laid anybody off because of that. I've always kept everybody on, and through when people retired, I just never replaced them.
That's amazing accomplishment.
That's a good record.
Yeah.
Well, you know, getting back, I kind of remember in teaching too. We went when we the computers. You know, as a veteran, you kind of want to fight it a little bit. You know. In fact, my first year, I didn't even turn it on. I kept telling Randy Simmons, my boss.
I mean,
that's because you didn't know how.
Well, I didn't know how.
Yeah. Well, the students know more than you do. Well, that isn't saying much for the students.
I didn't want to ask them every day.
Good point. Yeah.
I can ask my granddaughter, though, that's 5 or 6, you know. But no, it just, there's always going to be that, this is the way we did it, and, you know, we got to keep doing it that way from some.
Yeah, getting in the old attorneys, and I'm not saying older, they're, you know,
like I said,
to get them to switch over from, I've always brought a piece of paper down to your office, and, well, this is how we're doing it now.
That's like the doctors now. You go you visit a doctor, and he spends half the time on the computer so it's all done by the time you leave the place, you know.
Yeah, it's gotten really nice. Yeah. And, you know, the big move now was, I like being a trendsetter. I mean, not that I dress like a trendsetter, but I like to.
Oh, you look nice this morning. I don't know how you look like tomorrow, but I'll check you out.
But I like being the first one to do something, and that's a lot of the first. We were the first ones in the state of Illinois to go all paperless through our whole courtroom, which was a big step, and to get attorneys to go with it and to get on it. The federal government was doing it way before us, and that kind of helped set the tone.
Yeah.
And the first biggest project was getting a company like Tyler to come to Peoria. And when I mentioned Tyler, then Tyler's the main company, then Odyssey is the program we use.
Those are the programmers. You know, describe for us the services that you provide. I mean, it's a wide plethora of responsibilities.
Yeah, and that's why I said, that's why I have great supervisors. And great people that work for me. All the employees really take it to heart of what they do. And we go anywhere from traffic to someone wants to get thrown out of a house.
When people are fined or get a ticket, they pay the circuit clerk?
They pay the ticket in my office. If they go to court, we arrange the court dates and they go to court, and then after they're fined, they come to ours. And we have, we go from civil cases, criminal cases. And
you do both criminal and civil cases?
Yes, yeah. Anything that goes through the court system basically comes through my office. It starts in my office. If you get, like if you got arrested on the street, the state's attorneys would come down and decide if they're going to make charges. When they press the charges, it comes through our office.
Do you have an opportunity to weigh in on that discussion, or do you do whatever they tell you?
I do whatever they tell me. It's a lot easier.
Okay.
Remember, I had 6 brothers. I did whatever they told me.
Yeah.
Especially if you got outnumbered.
Yeah, exactly right. So you take a lot of direction from the judicial branch of county government.
AOIC, which is in Springfield, and they're the ones that tell us, what we got to do. And it's kind of it's kind of a work in progress. They say this is the law, and then they say, well, you're going to guide us. They guide us a little bit. Then they say, ask your state's attorney. And so we always, Jody Hoots has somebody on a standby for us. Anytime we have questions, we call them, and they tell us what they think of the law is. The big one when Brady was the state's attorney was the seatbelt law.
Okay.
No, it was a camera law. I'm sorry, the cell phone law. And they told you what the fine was, but they didn't tell you what the cost was. And so the fine was one cost, and then you had to add.
What they call that the administrative cost?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. So cell phone was only a $60 fine because that was the fine, and then you have the cost you have to add on to it. That made it up to $120, and it got real confusing on people on what they were doing. And the state's attorney, when they go to court, they can change costs. They can, if a guy plea bargains, they could get out of some of the fees and fines that we have.
Bobby, we've heard that with the implementation of the Safety Act, that county governments and city governments, but particularly county governments, such as I think the circuit clerk, has seen a drop in revenue. Is that true? Did that affect you with the cashless bail now?
We've had a drop in revenue, but it's kind of weighing itself out. I think the Safety Act is, to me, my opinion, and I'm not an expert on it by no means. You could get my nephew in here, John. Maybe he could.
John would know. And if you really get bored, you can get Jimmy.
Good point.
Or Billy. Billy's not doing anything anymore, is he?
Yeah, he's freed out. But yeah, it's the Safety Act, I think it's gotten blown way out of proportion. I mean, I think everybody wants to act like it's killing everybody, but there's good and there's bad. When you have
that's probably true of every law.
Yeah. You ought to see some of these laws. It's the same laws like you have to have your parent come in if you get a speeding ticket under age of 17. And if you want to get court supervision, you have to have your parent come in with you to say it's okay to get court supervision. Now, I had someone at the counter say, I got a ticket, I'm 17 years old, I'm married and pregnant, and my husband. I said, well, when they made the law, they didn't put down if you're married and you have your husband can come in for you. The law is your parent has to come in. So there's always going to be.
How'd you decide that?
I told my parents had to come in.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. I said the parents should have been with you a long time ago.
When you got it pregnant, for crying out loud. Guilty. Next case.
But I mean, there's always these laws. Are always going to be somebody's going to say they're against it or for them. And I don't know. The Safety Act it has its good points, it has its bad points, and I'm not an expert on it by no means. I do what the state's attorney tells me. It's a lot easier in life.
You can pass on the blame. Do you have occasions where they can become a little confrontational in your office? Because they come in to pay you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I tell my people that you have an obligation to treat everybody nice. And you have an obligation to treat everybody with respect. Everybody is the same. Everybody has a problem when they come into your office, whether it's to pay something, whether it's to go to court or something. And if you're nice to them, that's fine. If they're not nice to you and they keep on badgering you, that's what supervisors are there. Don't sit there and argue with them. Just come and get us, and we'll go up to them.
That's good advice. Yeah.
And then we'll handle it. And 9 times out of 10, it's handled pretty easily, and they usually don't walk out real happy, but they walk out that they realize it.
They were treated with respect.
I've told
No shots
them,
were fired and no fists were thrown.
Yeah, you don't throw another log on the fire. You just kind of throw a little bit and say not be in, and they understand. I think a lot of them. I try to be there every day and try to do what. And if they talk to the guy in charge or the woman in charge, I think they feel like they've gotten somewhere, and you just you try to be nice to them. And sometimes you can just say, eventually sometimes you have to say, we can handle this two ways. You can either, listen to us, or you can see the guys behind us in security. You can spend the night in jail. I mean, but for the most part, 90% and 99% of the time, we don't have to really. People are very, they know they did it wrong. They did something wrong, and they're just sometimes just want to say their side, and then they'll pay it,
Yeah.
So.
When a fine is imposed on a traffic ticket, it's city police, county sheriff's department, and state police go through your office as well.
Yeah, and also municipalities.
Okay,
so
like Peoria
Chillicothe,
Heights.
Peoria
Okay.
Heights, and then it's anybody in the Peoria County that writes. The Park District,
Really?
Bradley Police Department.
All those pay their fines through your.
They all come through our office.
So
yeah.
you can be pretty busy, said sometimes.
Yeah, when our biggest year, it was over 10,000 tickets we took in.
Wow.
And so, and that's what one of the programs that we're doing now, and Tammy Laminito, my chief deputy, she's really kind of spearheaded it. And I mean, I'm not trying to get off the tickets and stuff, but we had to keep all those tickets, and we kept them all in a file in the office. And that's what we're remodeling now. And so we hired some kids just coming out of high school, or kids that are going to college, to come back in the summertime. And they worked a program. We had a program set up. We're still doing it now, where they're scanning all of our files in, and we're getting rid of all of our files. So everything is going to be on a cloud, and it's a cloud-based system. And now we were able to do that. We were able to start off early enough where we cleaned all of our files up. So when our remodel, we're on the second stage of the remodel in our whole office, and we're able to give some of our office up to the order of protection. And if that's one of the things that I asked the county board for, some more money to pay these young kids to come in and work in my office, and they agreed to give it so we could get going. This saved the county. Instead of sending all the files out, we did it all in office.
What a great idea that was.
And it gave young kids a chance to earn some extra money. And we had as many as 15 kids working in the office. Now, it gets hectic, because you got to find spots for them to sit, but they're not all there at the same time. They want to have a summer. They go out and they enjoy it. They come in and they do their own thing, and they know what they have to do. They scan all the files in.
That big thing, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. They know them computers. It doesn't take long for them to learn
You understood
it.
the cloud and everything, didn't you? Right?
No, my mind has been in the cloud.
I was looking at you. I could tell when the cloud came up. I mean, I've heard that phrase too. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, the cloud is. I actually had to ask Greg, my guy, because I wanted to know what it was about. Well,
yeah, we don't need to know.
It's an area that keeps our files. Like it goes to that area, and Tyler's who our cloud is with, and Tyler's out of Texas, and they have instead of keeping it on site, it's all down in Texas, and so it's in and they gave it that nobody can get into it. It's pretty secure.
Pretty secure, yeah. What is the most common fine that's paid traffic-wise? Is it speeding?
Yeah, speeding would be the most one. Under 30 miles an hour. They like giving those tickets out, which is all right. I mean, I can't argue with that.
I'm about over a couple.
I don't like the people saying you're trying to make your budget on traffic tickets.
Yeah,
that's
or
not
the quota. The common one is they have a quota, a monthly quota, and when they get near the end of the month.
End of the month, Mike.
Yeah, well, I had two brothers that were policemen, as you know, and I think I think together they could have never made a quota.
Yeah. I want to switch gears a little bit. I've known you for a long time, and tell everybody a little bit about the Spears family. What did your parents do, and where you went to school?
I was the middle one. I was the child without any love, they always say. But and then
How many in your
was the
family?
oldest. There were 6 of us, and then my dad grew up in Chicago on the south side. He actually came from England. And it's kind of an interesting story. He came over when he was about 6, and lived in the south side down in Jackson Park area.
Okay.
That's where they're going to build the Obama library down there.
Mhm.
And my mom grew up on the south side, but she grew up more north. She grew into she was in Beverly, and my uncle was alderman in the Beverly Ward, then 19th Ward. And when my mom and dad met, my dad said, all I got was about 5 phone numbers for mom to call to find mom. Mom was the youngest out of all of them, and so when they finally met, they got married, and Dad was working for American Standard, and they said, we're going to transfer to Peoria. And Dad always said, I went in, I was living with Mom's mom, Fitzpatrick, and they went in to tell her, and she said, well, when do we leave? So Dad lived with my mom's mom, Fitzpatrick, when they first came to Peoria, and then my grandfather Spears passed away, and so she needed somewhere to stay, so we had both grandmas living with us.
Oh,
We had
Jesus.
Spears and Grandma
That's
Fitz.
fair. That's fair.
And then we found a house. Dad, Joey was born, and then Dad needed a bigger house. They found a house on Underhill, and that's where he was living on University and just moved a block over to Underhill. And we all went to St. Mark's, then Spalding. I think both schools were very happy to get the Spears family out.
Get them out of here.
Yeah. How many more
You gotta
could
pass
there
that
be?
boy.
Yeah.
So you have a total of how many brothers?
I got 6 brothers.
6 brothers. Can you share with us what each one is doing or has done as part of the Peoria?
We're all
community?
valedictorian at Spalding now. That we all they didn't have records back then that we could, so that way we could
So you can be,
Say what you want.
Yeah, exactly right. But Jimmy got into the bar business, has a very successful. Billy, I remember, worked for, was it Connor
Company
in Pioneer Park, and served on the city council
Yeah,
with
Billy
great
was on the city
distinction.
council with, I hate to say it, with a guy named George Jacob that
Yes.
just passed away, and that's Billy's brother-in-law too. It's his, Peoria
That's
lost
right.
2 good
I knew
people
that,
this
yeah.
last week, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then you got Michael and Tommy both worked for Dillon, and then my brother Pat was a policeman for the county. My
I
older
didn't
brother,
know Pat was. He was deputy sheriff.
yeah,
then,
he was with George Shadid
Yeah.
when he first started. My brother Joey was my oldest brother. That he was a city policeman, and then he's the one that got killed on 150 there on his motorcycle,
Yes, I do
coming back
remember
from
that.
hockey practice.
Yeah.
You
Isn't
know?
that
He was a fixture over at the youth hockey, and your dad was a good Blackhawks fan.
Yes, oh yeah, Dad.
From
Oh,
the south side of Chicago.
yeah, you gotta be.
You guys were always made me jealous because you got to go to the Blackhawk games, and I had to go see Ringling games.
That was a great time. Yeah, Dad was. Dad loved hockey too. Dad was Dad was a sports fanatic. I always said. Remember the old talk about sports?
Oh yeah.
And Dad used to always get on there, and he'd call them after the show and tell them whether you were wrong on that trivia. It's this, and Dad would pull out all his books. I mean,
No
you know.
kidding. Interesting. However, with all your accomplishments, I still think your biggest achievement is after you lost your lovely wife, Regina. You had the responsibility of raising your daughters, and talk about that challenge that you met very successfly, because they're really sweethearts. You've done a great job.
Thank you. You know, and sometimes, I had it's kind of funny because I had a guy, when I was dropping him off one day at St. Mary's, and it was, the principal, and
that's St. Mary's School
Ron Dwyer.
on North Jefferson, or
no, out in Kickapoo.
Okay.
And Ron Dwyer, yeah. And he'd come up to me and he says, "Boy," he goes, "Bobby, I really feel bad for you. Everybody is telling you what to do and asking you questions all the time." I said, "Well, Ron," I said, "it's like this. If they didn't ask, they didn't care."
Good point.
And you
Good
gotta,
point. Ron was a sharp guy.
and you got to always take things into heart. I had a lot of great help with the Joseph side, and they helped a lot. Every opinion you take you take it in. I had the kids. They never. I mean, I'm not saying I had the greatest kids, but they never really caused any problems, And
that's a big item.
and I told them, I said, I didn't ask for this dig, and neither did you guys. I know that. but if you cause a problem, we'll be on the front page of the paper. So try to do good stuff, will you?
And they have.
And I got
Tell
Annie,
us about your daughters.
and Annie, the oldest, is still lives at home, which she does a great job. She works at Jimmy's and she works at St. Francis and in recruiting. And you know what? She always says, Dad, I don't like telling people I live at home. I just tell them I have a roommate. And you happen to be the roommate.
Happen to be my father. Yeah.
Every now and then she's threatened that I'm going to move out. I said, whatever, Annie. You know.
What do you need to do?
But she does a great job. And then I have Isabel. And then she's married. She has two young girls, Evelyn and Nora. And Evelyn will be 3 this month.
Oh, boy.
And they're running around, and Nora's just starting to stand up and trying to walk, and then she's been married to Michael Houlihan, and I don't know if Houlihan is Steve Houlihan's dad was a city cop, so Steve always brags about his dad, how great of a cop he was, but I always hear he knew where to eat for free, and he drove a paddy wagon. So I'm not sure. I guess that's what a cop has to do.
That's quite a combination.
Yeah.
For that matter. Yeah.
And so then Isabel and Isabel is my youngest. I mean Samantha now is my youngest daughter, and Samantha has one child. She's married to a Colin Stahl. And the one was just born on the 21st of December.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
so she's just a little one, and she's doing really good. She's gaining some weight, and like I said, the aunts and everybody like coming over. They like holding her, and she's at the right age where she's
cooperative.
Yeah, and so
Likes the attention.
they're doing all good. And then she lives right down the street. She lives about a half a block away from me. So.
Well, God bless you
God
for
bless you,
what you've done, and
great job.
the Spears family, major contributors to making Peoria and Peoria County a better place to live, work, and raise their children. It's an honor to have you as a friend, and particularly since when you come, you always recognize the importance of bringing donuts.
Well, that's why
not all of our guests are that cognizant.
Well, that's why I got so boisterous there for.
I have to bribe you a little bit. I don't want you to ask me too tough a question.
Well, as you know, it doesn't take much to bribe me, and I appreciate it. God bless you. You know, I thought part of what I wanted to talk about is I've never seen a politician smile as much as you do, and you come to one of two conclusions: either you've got something you're hiding, or you just have a pleasant personality.
I'm going
and I
pleasant
think you have a
personality.
pleasant personality.
Thank you, Roger. It's been great.
Shoots from his hip.
And thanks for letting me come on. I really enjoyed you coming on. It's fun.
Well, you're a lot of fun, and Annie is a delight as well.
I tried to get her to come on, but she was like, no, I'll do my talk later. I didn't think she wanted. She said the microphone isn't big enough for both of us.
Well, I wouldn't agree with that at all. But keep up the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
And God bless you.
And she went to the beer game on Saturday. Annie did.
She told me that the other day.
She said that place was rocking, Dad. She said it
They
was.
announced that on. I mean, that's a big building. Needless to say, it holds about 70. Now they cut it down a little bit, but they got a lot of boxes. They say they thought maybe the whole building was moving a little bit.
Yeah.
The announcers were saying that. I don't,
Well, that's going to be the trivia question next month. You know that in a couple of years, what was Roger's last pass? And everybody can say a pick six.
I got it. Billy. Bobby, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. God bless you and the Spears family.
I'll try not to get lost next time.
Tell the girls
guys.
Thank you.
You bet.
Sorry
You
about
bet.
it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Bobby.
We all have.
Thank you.
And a pleasant good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 13th. We start with a check of the weather brought to you by Realtor Kathy Reynolds. You learned earlier that hard work produces results, and that's why Kathy is so successful in the real estate business. She works hard to get results for her clients seeking to sell and or buy their next home. And you can reach more from Kathy at 309-696-2162. Mostly cloudy, windy today, a little warmer, a high of 52. Tonight it'll be cloudy and 29. How about tomorrow? Chance for morning, yes, snow flurries. It'll be windy. Falling temperatures tomorrow, reaching 26 by 4 in the afternoon. Tomorrow nice low, a nippy 14 degrees. How about Thursday? Increasing cloudiness and cold, a high of 29. Snow showers likely Thursday night with a low 25. Looking ahead to Friday, chance for afternoon snow showers, a high of 37, and currently we are at 40 degrees. Now with our lead story, here's Terry.
It's back to a lawfare for Democrats in Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Those governments have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law.
And Attorney Generals for Illinois and the City of Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and Border Patrol agencies. They claim agents engaged in unlawful and violent tactics in violation of the 10th Amendment as well as federal statutes.
Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigations started in 2022.
In world news, there's still rioting in Iran as President Trump warns that government of serious consequences if they continue to jail and kill their citizens. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran.
In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oaklawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who was disabled.
Peoria's fire department receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. The money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local fire officials.
Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and has not been seen since. She's 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that could help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131.
The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations is expanding. Health officials in some states, Illinois is one of those, opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended a change in what vaccines are administered, especially to newborns. And we had a fascinating and most informative discussion about that subject at 7:15 this morning with Dr. Gene Sidler, and we thank him for his usual cooperation.
Well, if you were listening, we just had a visit with Bobby Spears, who is the circuit clerk, and he gave us a very good description of what passes through his office.
Yes. Is he a nice guy or is he a
He's
nice
guy? Yes.
You've known him for a long time, haven't you, Michael? And all the members of, one of the joys of working with the Spears family, particularly Jimmy Spears, is when they go to Clonmel, they call us from Ireland. And now, with us being on YouTube, we can talk to Mike Carey at Mike Carey's Bar. And we learned early, and we've been doing that exclusively now for umpteen years, that I'll never forget the first question I asked Mike Carey was, in addition to the beer, what kind of food you serve? He said, we don't serve any food. We are a bar, and that's it, for that matter. What are the all nine?
No hamburgers, no anything.
Yeah, no, just good old-fashioned beer. Any rate, let's get news now from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Ben Howell. The Illinois Department of Public Health reports 14 measles cases this past year. That's down dramatically from the previous year, which saw 67 cases. Jennifer Suss specializes in pediatric medicine at the department.
We certainly would have liked it to be 0 cases, but measles is here in the United States, and so we're working to make sure that everyone knows that they should get vaccinated because, again, this is a preventable illness.
This comes as the U.S. saw the highest level of cases in over 30 years, according to the CDC. Suss says more patients are opting out of vaccinating their children before starting school for non-medical reasons, like religious rules. A state legislative oversight committee is allowing the Illinois Department of Corrections to make rules that allow it to scan and digitize mail of those in custody. It's considered a blow to prison reform advocates, according to Capital News Illinois. The rule was originally introduced under pressure from Republican legislators and the Prison Workers Union after a series of substance exposures in the fall of 2024 left correctional staff hospitalized. The policy has been in effect on an emergency basis since August. The department sought to make the rule permanent, describing it as a necessary safety precaution to keep drugs and dangerous substances from being smuggled into prisons via the mail. And the USDA has shared more details about how it will dole out $11 billion in one-time payments to row crop farmers. The aid is meant to offset trade disruptions, high production costs, and low crop prices. Payment rates are based on the number of acres farmers planted last year, along with estimated production costs and prices for specific commodities. Nick Paulson, an agriculture economist at the University of Illinois, says the one-time payments only provide short-term relief.
Prices for most row crops have not significantly improved from what farmers are currently dealing with for their 2025 crop, and we don't see production costs declining to the extent needed to get farmers back into the black.
An analysis by the American Farm Bureau shows the Midwest and Corn Belt states will receive over 60% of the funding. I'm Ben Howell.
Okay, Ben, good job. Let's get into the world of sports, and we have a guy giving sports on Tuesday morning by the name of Coach Mike Olson, and he's wearing his Peoria Central Lions football sweatshirt. Did you do some assistant coaching while you were there? Yeah. Who was your head coach?
Oh, Larry Lavery.
Larry Lavery.
Salt of the earth. What a great guy.
Yeah, great guy, wasn't he? Yeah.
Enjoyed every minute of it. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
We did get second in the state one year. I know.
Second in state? What year was that? And who was your quarterback? Jameson?
Yeah, it was Bucky Jokish.
Jokish
From the Coors company.
Yeah.
Bucky. No, I want to make sure.
Was the dad's name Robert?
Oh yeah, Bob was.
Yeah.
Bob was. Yeah, and
Okay.
I know Bob pretty well too. In fact, Bob came through the line for my dad the other day.
Well, a lot of people came through the line
came
for your
through the
dad.
line. You and about
Yeah.
3 hours and 15 minutes.
I didn't wait that long, but I
but
stood
you
in line
you
a long
picked a good
time.
day.
You should have served refreshments.
Well, it should have
Maybe
served
a
something.
little
I
communion
felt bad, I know
wine.
that.
No, you didn't feel bad.
Well, first I'd like to do before I forget, because I would forget, is I had a chance to meet Tom Leiter the other day.
Tom Leiter,
Tom
yes,
Leiter,
yeah.
whose father you just
Gene Leiter was
Gene,
mayor of
he
the
told
city
me
of
that
Peoria,
his dad
yeah.
was the mayor,
Mhm.
but that was before I arrived on the scene here, probably in the late 40s, 50s sometime, I would assume.
Well, don't date me too much.
Well, I mean, I remember guys like Lenhausen and
Bob Lenhausen, you
those
bet.
guys,
We've had some
anyway,
wonderful
Tom
mayors.
Tom was very interesting. I'd also like to say I had his daughter. I believe
You had
was
everybody's
Beth,
daughter at
Beth,
some
Beth
point.
Leiter,
Okay.
and she's in politics. She's on the city board over in the Heights. Beth
Oh,
Leiter,
really?
yeah, and she's married to the man by the name of Kazam. You know
Oh, yeah.
who
Not Shazam, but Kazam.
Kazam,
Yeah.
who
wasn't he developing the Junction City
yeah,
for a
he's
while?
the one that did, yeah.
Okay.
And the family, but Beth is, so we had a nice talk, and I told him, I said, make sure you tell your daughter I said hello. And but I think that's one of the nice things about teaching. You of course you have one of their children, and then you know some of their other children, and then you know their parents. And
You go through one generation.
Right, yeah.
If you're there long enough, and you were in education for how many? 35 years?
I had in Peoria area I had 37.
Well, I missed a day.
Well,
by 2 years.
Four at Bergen, 11 at Richwoods,
Thank you.
and 22 at Central.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was it.
All right, do you have any sports?
Oh, I got sports all over
Okay.
the place.
Here's Mike Olson with
BU
sports.
basketball off to a great start. They're currently tied for second in the Missouri Valley Conference at 5-2. Murray State is 7-0, and they're tied with Belmont out of Nashville, Tennessee. And those are the two teams that nipped them on the road, and we'll get them when they come here. Okay, BU is at men's basketball will be at Evansville tonight at 7 o'clock, and then Saturday we got the War on 74. We're down at Normal playing Illinois State at 1 o'clock, trying to avoid those football playoff games later in the afternoon. BU women's basketball having a good start also. They're on the road this week. They're at Drake on Friday at 6, and then they travel north out of Des Moines, heading up to Cedar Falls to play on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. NFL playoffs. Houston, the Texans win 30-6 last night over Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Did you see during the game, they had the camera on him after him being Aaron Rodgers, and he was ticked off. He was barking at some other players and so forth. I think
Aaron.
Yeah, and if you notice, no one, for one thing, he didn't hang around with anybody. Nobody hung around with him, except once he was sitting on the bench mumbling to somebody next to him who was paying absolutely no attention.
Well,
I don't exactly think that he would pass a Dale Carnegie course.
The quarterback gets a lot of credit when they do well.
Yeah.
And when they don't do well, he gets his share.
They
of
get the
blame,
cold shoulder.
But he tends to gives the other people a little bit of blame too occasionally.
Oh, you're right.
But anyway, this week now, this coming week, we have Saturday and Sunday games. Denver and Buffalo will play on Saturday at 3:30, and also on Saturday, we will have Seattle against the San Francisco 49ers, so two West Coast teams. And then on Sunday, New England will play the first game at 2 against the Texans of Houston, and the Bears and the Rams will be up in Soldier Field for a 5:30 game on Sunday afternoon. So good luck to our Bears. Quite a game the other day.
Yeah.
In their win over the Packers. In fact, there's some rumors going on that if the Packers relieve, his name is Matt LaFleur, from his job, that the recently fired John Harbaugh from Baltimore Ravens will be the new coach in Green Bay. Let's just see if that happens. It's just a rumor right now, but
Okay.
we'll see what happens there. Rivermen off to another great start. They had 2 road wins in Birmingham, Alabama this past weekend, and they are in first place, 3 points ahead of Huntsville. I'd like to thank Bart Rogers, majority owner and runs the front office, and John Guy Trudell for bringing the whole entire many parts of the organization. We have Andrew Cohen, Katie Pogeman, their publicity guy, Jason Ruff, and the whole team came
The
through.
team, they were there
in
with their
uniform.
uniforms.
Looked pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
It was, and I had a chance to shake hands with all of them and really enjoyed it. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria, Illinois, and on YouTube.
You got it. Thank you, Mike Olson. Hour number 3 of Breakfast with Roger and friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in wonderful Peoria, Illinois, as Mike Olson said, and on YouTube as well. And we're delighted to welcome one of our associates on our program. This is Chris Buckley of It Plays Media Group. Let's see which microphone you're on there. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Chris? And one of the things we're going to talk about, you worked for a number of years at a theater. And as such, you collected these big posters that you see in theaters, and you said you have how many?
Probably close to 1,000.
Yeah.
And they're what? They're about, 3 feet?
Yeah, what are the dimensions?
They're 27 by 40.
Okay.
And they're in
27 is-
growing colors. And tell us some of the movies that you have posters for. Star Wars is one of your big ones, right?
Yeah, I got Episode 2. I think I got a couple Phantom Menace ones. I think I got some Episode 3 ones. I got a bunch of the Harry Potters. I think I have all the Lord of the Rings. Basically, if a movie came out between 97 and 2004,
you have it.
There's a good possibility I have I got some movies I forgot even existed that when I was going through them the other day. I have like Rollerball. I got A View from the Top in there. I got Adaptation, The Hours, a Sundance winner called Cherish, so some of the stuff, like the ones that were never big, huge hits, are pretty rare probably because they didn't make a ton of them.
And the big news is that you're making them available for purchase. If someone wants to learn more, like they might have a favorite movie like Midway, shall we say. I don't know whether that's in your time scope or not, but what number do they call to get more information and maybe learn a little bit about what you have and the dimension of the poster?
Yeah, let me pull that back up here.
While you're working on that, these would have made, and probably still make, but would have made great gifts at Christmas time for people who are movie buffs, and that includes people who were maybe younger at the time the movie came out, but still have a big fascination. These posters would look good in a rec room or a kid's bedroom. Or
they're all the double-sided one sheets. So
double-sided. Okay.
So they're meant to have a light box behind them.
Oh, really? But that doesn't mean that
you have to.
That you have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about a double box if I had a poster of a particular movie favorite of mine. What was your most the ones that you have that you remember of close to 1,000? What's your favorite?
Oh, there's so many in there. I remember a couple of the very first posters I ever got was I started working at the theater when Titanic came out, so I have.
Ooh, that would be a great one.
I think I have a couple.
I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple posters for that. I got
the Titanic.
but and then I got a poster for the movie like Ever After, which was like the Cinderella one of Drew Barrymore. But then obviously, the big movies that came out, I was there for Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I was there for.
And what place was it? What movie?
It was up north. It was a Regal. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's the phone number?
Oh, I just pulled that up here.
I wanted to
right
make
here.
sure.
Yes, it is 309-306-2152.
309-306-2152.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you've tentatively indicated what we're talking about, and I think it's very reasonable, as a matter of fact. So if you have any interest, give Chris a call, 309-306-2152. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, Terry. What was your favorite movie in that time span?
Well, that beats out The Sting, because that was way before then.
Yeah. That was a good one, too.
Yeah,
I'd have to go with, out of that time span, probably Titanic.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That'd be probably mine.
I was just talking about this the other night, and I do think I have a poster for it upstairs. There's so many to go through, and I'm trying to go through and photograph them all and document them all and everything.
Yeah, you have some with maybe a couple with Star Wars, too.
Yeah, I have a lot of Star Wars. I got Lord of the Rings. I got those Harry Potter posters. But like from my time working there, I think one of the sleeper hits that I still love, and a lot of people don't really remember this movie, and the people that do are like, oh yeah, that was great, or they remember it but they never saw it, was Josie and the Pussycats. Because that movie was smarter than people gave it credit for. You know, it had a pretty big cast at the time in it, and it's basically a commentary on consumerism and marketing, and these big conglomerates trying to basically mind control teenagers for the next fad so they can spend their parents' money.
Yeah. Do you have any posters about Christmas movies?
Oh, I'm sure I do. I think I might have one for Elf up there somewhere.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I know someone who would snap that up in a jump for joy.
I'll go through some of the ones. I mean, I'll just read off the ones that I only opened 2 tubes so far, and I got 70 tubes up there. But I got Return to Neverland. I got Rollerball, Blade 2, Jason X, Behind Enemy Lines, Death to Smoochie.
Who was in Behind Enemy Lines?
That was Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman.
I thought Gene Hackman, yeah.
And then I have, some of these I have multiples of. I got The One with Jet Li. I have Adaptation, A Mighty Wind, which is a great movie. Shanghai Nights, The Hours, Black Hawk Down, Spy Game, Ocean's 11. I got the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie. Intolerable Cruelty, House of the Dead, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter's, View from the Top. I got a Sundance movie called Cherish. I got Die Another Day, more Harry Potter, more Star Wars. And yeah, I mean, you can see just how many tubes I have here.
Yeah, my goodness.
You know, they're all been kept in poster tubes, so you don't have to worry about any sun damage or fading. But it's an effort to get them all out, flatten them out, hold them down so you can photo them. I have a friend coming by tomorrow. He's going to come. I told him I would donate a couple of them to him if he would help me with the cause too. And then I have bus shelters. I have the bus shelters, which are the double-sized ones that would go on the side of a bus shelter. And I have banners. So I have big vinyl banners. I have the original Kill Bill banner, and that's 6 feet tall. I have the banner for Nice Guys, which is a wide one, and I believe that's probably at least 8 feet wide. Yeah, and I have, the bus shelters, I have like Alien Covenant, I think I have Transpotting, I got, looking back, the number of movies that, when you work at the movie theater and you're aware of every movie coming out, and I was there, since I started there when I was 15. So when you're that in touch with every movie coming out, even the ones that you don't get because you still hear about it and are we getting this one and stuff, and then you remove yourself that long, and all these posters is kind of memories, of, you know what, I remember that movie now. And I used to watch everything. I used to watch every movie. I was a projectionist, so my job was to actually cut and splice all the reels together because we ran off of a platter system. So instead of doing, changeovers, we would build the prints. So we had to take all the reels and tape them all together into one big reel that would go on a platter.
And that way there wouldn't be any,
Right. So
I can remember we used to kind of see sometimes in the 50s, you could see that just a little bit of.
Well, it used to be a thing. I learned this in my movie class. That up in the corner there'd be a little flash, and that was to warn them that okay, this is nearing the end of the reel, and get ready because you got to get the next one ready to go.
But so every Thursday night, because movies came out on Friday, every Thursday night, I was in high school at the time, but I would be there till 1 a.m. putting these movies, because sometimes we had 5-6 movies coming out, and we had to put them all together. And then not only did we have to put them together, we had to watch them to make sure they were put together right, make sure they weren't scratches, make sure we didn't have defective reels, because if we did, the first thing we had to do, we had to write an email to get an overnight of a new replacement reel.
Interesting. It seemed like, I don't know what the theater was, but my memory goes back to being there, watching a projector machine working, and then the guy got excited. There might have been 2 people there, I don't know. Does it take 2 people or just one
We had Thursday nights, typically we would have 2 people up there, so we could get the movie started on time and build movies. And sometimes we had a lot of prints to put together and take apart, you know, when we were losing stuff. But it was typically, we had 12 screens, there was 1 projectionist.
Okay. Well, I recall, if my memory serves me right, and it doesn't always, that he got a little excited because he got up and at a certain point, there were 2 projectors and one quit as quickly as the other one started. Is that how the system worked?
Well,
remember that right?
our projectors, because we had Q tapes and everything, sensors on them, so we didn't have to worry about the movie ending, because when the movie ended, it just would finish going through the projector, and it would just finish going through the projector, and then it would shut itself off.
Good.
So they had fail safes, especially if a movie broke or something or got stuck, it would turn itself off. So we didn't have to worry so much about the movie ending, but sometimes we had 4 movies starting at a time. So you have to pre-thread all the projectors. So basically our job was when we heard a movie drop, that's what we would say when a movie got out, it dropped, because you would hear the S curve, the tension to curve drop and go. You would have to run over there and you'd thread it and get it ready to go, so that when it was ready to start, you only had to hit start. So then you're running around just trying to make sure everything's threaded and ready to go, and then you had your little timesheet and you had your watch and you had to just kind of make sure that
It started at 8:50.
right, because nowadays everything's digital. They don't even have anybody in the booth. But we used to have to manually, everything was manual. So if a movie was running a couple lates, the projectionist might be trying to deal with something else, because static was our enemy, and we still to this day don't know why, but they carpeted our booth, so our entire projection booth had carpet in it, and just this year the theater I worked at shut down, so that was kind of a sad thing.
What was the purpose of the carpet?
We don't know, because
to
create static to give us headaches. So because static is your worst friend up there, because the film will stick together, and especially there's a big centerpiece in the platter. So the movie's pulled from the middle was the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie, and then it wrapped around to the outside.
Really? Wow.
So in the middle was something we called it the brain. That's just, I don't know if that was a technical term, that's just what we called it, because there's a tension arm on there, and that would speed up and slow down the platter based on, where the film was being fed through. But there's times where static would cause, the film to jump around or jump over a peg, because the brain had pegs around the outside, and sometimes it would loop around there and it'd get tight, and so we had bounce pads everywhere. We had, the bounce sheets. We had those laying all over all the feet of everything. We'd go out there shout and anti-static stuff, and always spraying it. And we always, because it was dry up there, and there was carpet, and I don't know why they put the carpet up there.
My guess would be they were thinking in their minds, we'll
Be
make
quiet.
it, soundproofing.
Right.
Not thinking that
Right.
it is.
And then also he's like, well, then just run a humidifier up there, but you don't want.
You don't want that much moisture.
So, and it was basically a long hallway. So the movie theater was shaped like a T, and the base of the T was the lobby, and the bottom of the T was the box office, and you had the lobby and concessions, and then the top of the T is where it spread out, and that's where all the theaters were on either side of the hallway. So the projection booth just mirrored that top of the T. And we would, so it was a long hallway, so you got really good at listening for problems, being woken up from half asleep, because, sometimes you got an hour and a half, and you're like, because you have sets.
What are you going to do but take a nap?
Right, or you're bored up there, or,
I can see where... hour after hour. Anyway, we're talking with Chris Buckley of It Plays Media Group, and if you're interested in learning more about a movie poster that maybe you would like to put in a rec room or a child's room or an adult's room for that matter, you can call and get a quote at 309-306-2152. We'll be right back with more with Chris Buckley, but first let's bring you up to date with our news. Advanced Medical Transport, Central Illinois, bringing you the news this morning. Since 1991, the folks at AMT have been saving lives with paramedics and EMTs. When seconds count, you can count on Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. When it comes to news, you can count on the best news in Peoria radio right here at WAZU with Terry Chamberlain.
The cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul and the whole state of Minnesota have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration seeking to prohibit the use of federal agents to fight crime by illegal immigrants. The lawsuits named Kristi Noem in the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and its director, Todd Lyons, and U.S. Border Patrol and its commander, Greg Bovino. Minnesota officials claim the federal government is violating the Constitution and federal law. And attorneys general for Illinois and Chicago have also filed lawsuits to limit the power and authority of the federal government via ICE and Border Patrol agents. They claim agents engage in unlawful and violent tactics in violation of the 10th Amendment and federal statutes. Meanwhile, federal agencies are cracking down on Minnesota officials and some of their welfare agencies, some existing and some that never existed. Up to $18 billion in fraudulent payments were allegedly paid to mostly Somali organizations. So far, 98 individuals have been charged since the investigation started in 2022. They're still rioting in Iran as President Trump warns that government of serious consequences. The riots are into the third week of demonstrations. Trump said he would slap on a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. In local news, a fire Saturday night in Oaklawn Estates in Morton completely destroyed a mobile home, displacing multiple members of the family living there. All escaped the burning home, but one dog perished in the blaze. Members lost all of their possessions. A GoFundMe has been established to help victims of the fire, including one member who is disabled. Peoria's fire department is receiving a $3 million grant from the Trump administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency. The money will be used to add additional firefighters to the department, according to local officials. Police in Canton are asking the public to help them find 19-year-old Jennifer Noggle. The woman disappeared last month from a hospital in Oak Park, Illinois, and has not been seen since. She's 5'10", has blue eyes, and dyed red hair. If you have any information that would help find the woman, call Canton Police at 309-647-5131. The dispute between the federal and state governments over vaccine recommendations is expanding. Health officials in some states are opposed to the recent statement coming out of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That committee of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended a change in what vaccines are administered to newborns. And we also had a guest earlier in the morning, if you were listening, and if you want to replay it back, of course, we're stored on YouTube. But Bobby Spears, who is a circuit clerk, came in and told us what his office does, in case you had any
And what he does as
and
well.
what he does.
And his entire family, for that matter.
That's
We
true.
had a good time. Thank you, Terry. Now a check of the weather sponsored by your hometown community banks, Division of Morton Community Bank. 46 convenient locations in Central Illinois to serve you. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC. Mostly cloudy and windy today, a little warmer. We're going to get up to around 52 degrees, overnight low 29. Tomorrow we have a chance for morning snow flurries. It'll be windy and we'll see temperatures fall throughout the day, reaching around 26 degrees by 4 tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night's low 14 degrees. Thursday, increasing cloudiness and cold, a high of 29. Snow showers likely Thursday night with a low 25. Friday, we have a chance for afternoon snow showers and a high of 37. Right now, our temperature standing at 40 degrees, and here's our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. The cat's whiskers are an amazing feline instrument. In addition to relaying their mood or temperament, whiskers allow cats to navigate in the dark. Those whiskers also help them measure openings so they know they can easily fit through or to find some other entrance. By that I mean if their whiskers, fully fanned, can fit through an opening, then so can the cat's body. One more interesting talent of whiskers is they can help cats control their prey. What happens is, typically, when a cat catches a mouse or other prey, he will keep it under control with his paws. But cats also use their whiskers by moving the whiskers forward to form a type of net in front of its mouth. The sensitivity of the whiskers allows the pet to feel through vibrations which way the prey is attempting to run. So if you're looking for a good mouser in your barn, pick one with nice long whiskers and a thick, dense coat of fur. If you just need a sweet lap cat, then a cat like mine would be great. My little fella is a Siamese in a Maine Coon body. His whiskers are very short and curled, and he only has about 4 whiskers total. But I can say from experience that that has not stopped him from catching a small bird and bringing it into the house the other day. Oh my goodness, feathers were everywhere. I praised him, but I also rescued the little bird and set it free. So now you know all there is to know about whiskers. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
All right, thank you, Louis Linder, for your splendid pet tip of the day. I'd like to keep a scoreboard, how many stories they do on cats versus dogs, and see who is the winner of that contest.
Well, how many turtles have they talked about?
None. Not a
Wasn't
single
that a
turtle.
big pet in the 70s?
Sure
Pet
was.
turtles.
A little tiny turtle. And
Snakes.
Oh, you're going to have the snakes. Forget that.
Mm-hmm.
I have an aversion to snakes like you do for dogs.
I got
for that
snakes too.
matter.
I see a snake, I run. Could be a little grass snake.
Chris Buckley is our guest of It Plays Media Group, and among other things, he is in the market to make available some huge movie posters, and they measure roughly...
They're all 27 by 40, which was the standard one-sheet size. They're called one-sheets.
And if you have a favorite movie and you want a poster, you can call Chris at 309-306-2152. You've been in the movie business. What's your favorite theater? Anywhere.
I worked at the Grauman's Chinese Theater
In
as
LA?
a projectionist, for about 6 months. And that was a beautiful theater.
What made it beautiful? All the architecture, the lighting,
the architecture, the design, just the old glamour bigness. You know, it was an event to go see a movie. You know, it had balcony, it had, so I like old theaters. It's hard to really pick one to stand out, because I appreciate these, old single screen movie houses. Because it was.
I do too.
The new one just seems like you go into like a bathroom or a living room and.
Yeah.
They're pretty sterile, aren't they?
Well, the new ones.
There's no.
The point of the new theaters is nothing inside the auditorium It's supposed to distract you from what you're there to see, which is the movie. And the old ones, it was an event. You dressed up. You used to put on your best to go see a movie.
You were going to the movie. Well, we've had the Palace and the Madison here. And
Their architecture was amazing.
I enjoyed going to those.
And the lighting too, just if you were ever there, and it's rare when it happened, when they turned on the house lights and you saw what the ceiling looked like. You would see on the things on the side of the screen and maybe on the walls, but the ceilings were spectacular. But how many times did they throw the lights on? Not very often. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I like to being a stagehand now is going, I'm working over at the BCPA and...
Where's that?
Bloomington Center for Performing Arts.
Okay.
And I get to go into these theaters. I just did I did a show up in DeKalb at the Arcada Theater. And I love the architecture and the design. I love like the Art Deco style of a lot of this stuff. And it's the interesting thing. Like, one of my favorite things about working at the Chinese theater when I did was getting to go places that even if you tried to pay for a tour, you couldn't go.
Really?
So at the projection booth was upstairs in Grauman's Chinese theater, and across the hall around the corner was they didn't use it anymore because Mann bought Grauman's, and Mann had 6 theaters in the mall, which was attached to it. So they ran both. So all the management and stuff was in the mall, but it was a giant office, and and back in the day, from the projection booth, I used to just go and sit and watch the movie. I'd leave the booth and just go on the balcony because the balcony was closed off now. And I'd sit in the same chair that Charlie Chaplin used to sit in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't look a lot at all like Charlie, or Chucky.
But but that office had this big, nice, ornate desk with the thing, and it was a speakeasy where it'd spin around. And in my time out there, I got to do some work at the Hollywood Bowl.
I was going to say, you're right in Hollywood.
Yeah, so I got to do work at the Hollywood Bowl. I got hired to, this is a long time ago, we were upgrading their video system. So we were installing triax cables. We're upgrading 2 triax, which nobody even uses anymore now. But that was crawling under the tunnels and all the access ports and everything underneath the Hollywood Bowl and all the offices and everything back there, And I've always loved that. It's kind of like a different look into things. Yeah, when even when I'm at the Civic Center or I'm at Grossinger Arena or I'm putting together some of these shows and some of these concerts, it's you're backstage. This is what a lot of people have an idea what backstage looks like. It's not anything close to reality. I think the closest you're ever going to see to backstage if you watch Spinal Tap and they get lost and they're sitting there and they're just somebody pushing a cart with like beverages on it, because it's surreal to kind of see behind the scenes of things. But then also when I go to see shows and stuff now, I spend more time looking at the rigging, looking at the setup, looking at what did they do there, or trying to look at it to see what's coming in the show.
See what it was used for.
Right.
Time even.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same way in athletics. I enjoy going to the older ballparks than I do the new ballparks because it's the same deal. The new ballparks are pretty much all the same.
But you actually enjoy going to that Springfield baseball stadium?
Lanphier Park down there?
Yeah. That's a dump.
Well, because they haven't done much with it.
Yeah.
But I've been down to Bradenton, Florida, where the Braves were in the 50s, and versus the new places all look like Dozer Park, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Dozer Park and Lamphier's like night and day.
Night and day.
That Springfield Park is, like I say,
right behind Lanphier
I'm being kind if I call it a dump.
Yeah, It's
Yeah.
the infield's not very good either. I've played there both as a player and a coach, and
Have either one of you been to to the theater at the Riverfront Museum? I know they have a theater. I wonder what it looks like, whether
Pretty
there's some nice architecture, or is it
nice.
just kind of plain? You've been there,
I've
have
been
you?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
They had.
Describe it.
Well, I mean, number one, it's kind of steep,
Yeah, it is
And
steep.
You come in kind of like at maybe the bottom. There's a third of the seats below and maybe 2/3 above, and not very ornamental, but better than the average one you see at these.
So like a landmark.
Yeah.
I believe it's it's newer too.
It's newer,
so,
right?
Well, that
But
makes-
But I believe it's an
a
IMAX
nice
screen.
and the sound was very good.
Yeah.
The,
I had
Boy,
one of
that
my-
makes a big difference.
I had a short film play there, so that
You
was the
did?
only time I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
I took part in a 24-hour or 48. I think it was a 48-hour film festival, which means they deliver you a line of dialogue, a prop, and whatever, so you can't even write it yet. And then you have 48 hours to write it, to shoot it, to edit it, to
Wow.
master it, and deliver it to them.
No kidding.
Just short films.
Yeah.
So
how short is short?
I think mine was under 10 minutes. I think it was 5 minutes or so.
Interesting. That probably was kind of fun, wasn't
That's
it?
the old
Yeah.
shorts.
Well,
We used to have the shorts.
I enjoy the process of the filmmaking. I enjoy but the stressful thing is day of the shoot, and then people cancel, and it's hard to
Oh,
cast.
yeah.
It's hard to cast when you haven't
Yeah.
written anything yet. So you get a group of people together saying, okay, are you guys available? And then you have to look at who you have available and write it for who you have and locations that you have available. And then then you sit down and you do that. So, and then you're like, okay, we're going to shoot at this time. So like they drop the info at like midnight, so you're up all night. And then you're like, okay, so you have a time crunch to get the thing written. And then you got to, and you got to storyboard it and break it down. And you're like, okay, I need everybody to show up at this time. If you're not in the crew, if you're not in the cast, you're in the crew type of thing. And then day of, half the people don't show up. And then, but those are the people you wrote the parts for. So then you're shuffling. And, that it's stressful when you do that. And you need to keep them simple. You need to keep these short film things simple. And I have a trouble with that. I always try to push the boundaries of what I think is possible in that time because I want to challenge myself. But that's also set me back quite a bit too, because many little setbacks will be big setbacks if you make an ensemble cast of 30 people, and then half of them won't show up, and then you're scrambling because you have 12 hours to finish shooting.
Why wouldn't they show up? Just they found something better, or they
people are flaky.
Yeah.
Well,
they're not very reliable.
It's like being on a committee or anything, or a,
Yes.
yeah. There's not the same.
You need to have a group. You need to have a group of people that are as passionate about the process as you are. But when you got people that you're trying to convince to be in a movie that have no desire to be an actor and they're just doing it, you know what I mean? They're less likely to just show up and do it because they're doing it, but it's not something that they're jumping out of bed excited to do.
They don't have the passion to do it.
Yeah. I've had a lot. I have a filing cabinet of short films that I've written that I've tried to shoot, and then people don't show up or people cancel, and
can't even do it.
I couldn't get the the crew and the cast together to do it right, because if I'm going to do them, I want to do them right, and it's impossible of one person to do that right. So
the movie industry is just absolutely fascinating, but you know more about it than all of us put together. The dynamics of filming have changed over the years, and I think for the good, but I don't have enough knowledge. All I know is I don't go to movies anymore. So I don't know whether the two of you, either one. What's the last movie you saw, Terry?
Too much violence for me. Too much sex.
Probably Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Theater.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the new Ghostbusters when they came out. I did go see. I'll watch the big ones. And this is the thing. This is coming from someone that used to see every single movie that came out in the theater. I love the theater experience. But in recent years, it has to be something that excites me.
Yeah, they're not jumping out at you.
Because well, this is the thing. People got their 70-inch TV and their sound system at home, and at home they got their blankets, they got their microwave,
they got the refrigerator,
they got their cats that are going to curl up on their lap. So
no, there's a lot.
And popcorn doesn't cost $20 a bucket.
Right. So I mean, there's certain movies that I'm like, I want to see that on the big screen. I want that experience. Yeah. But then I don't have a desire to go see a drama on the big screen because seeing it on the big screen is not going to do anything for me. Right. But to go see like a Godzilla movie or go see Ghostbusters or Alien or the last movie
jumps out
the last movie I went to go see in the theater, and it was because the movie I was actually really excited to see and I didn't want to wait for it to come to streaming, was the remake of The Toxic Avenger, and it was awesome. It's not for everybody. I'm going to say that right now. It's not for everybody. And if you're not familiar with what The Toxic Avenger is or Trauma, then Trauma is the movie company. If you're not familiar with Lloyd Kaufman and you're not familiar with Trauma, and the movie's definitely not going to be for you. But it's a movie that knows exactly what it is and leans into it. And, I mean, it's got Peter Dinklage in it. It's got Kevin Bacon in it. It's got Elijah Wood in it.
Big name.
It was awesome. It was fun. It was
what
awesome.
What makes it so bad? You say it was fun and it was awesome.
Well,
but you say
it's extremely violent.
Oh yeah,
it's extremely gory. There's a lot of, but it's done in a over the top to the point where it's funny or it's ridiculous type of over the top. But going into there's 4 Toxic Avenger movies that were made from the 80s through the 90s. So I knew what I was getting into going into it, and seeing this, I'm like, I enjoyed it, and I was excited to see it because Trauma is a low budget movie studio that actually James Gunn, if you know who James Gunn is, started with Trauma. He wrote movies for Trauma. I think he directed a couple for Trauma. And then he moved on. And I think one of his first big non-Trauma films was he wrote the Scooby-Doo movie. The live-action Scooby-Doo movie. But Trauma is low budget, just over-the-top B movie. And they embraced the whole B movie thing. But then, they also buy some of these low-budget movies, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They have a movie called Cannibal the Musical, and Trauma released it, and the movie is awesome. And this is before South Park. This was, I believe, it was like their college thesis. They shot this movie. So, but yeah. Well, now let me circle back to my point. I totally went on a tangent there while we were talking about. But I think what I was getting at is movies today, right? Because there's technology to do so much more stuff, you lose that creativity. That's why I love these movies in the 80s. Like, you look at a movie like Brazil, Terry Gilliam, and you realize how many of those effects were practical. That wasn't CGI. That was, optical effects or models and, layering stuff together to get that effect. And the creativity that had to go behind to see that on screen is amazing.
And it's amazing that time flies when you're having fun, and that should do it, everybody. I want to thank Bobby Spears for coming in and chatting with us this morning. Dr. Gene Sidler talking about vaccines. Chris Buckley again with those movie posters, and if you want to find out about one that you might like, give Chris a call at 309-306 2152. Weather-wise, cloudy and windy today, a little warmer, up to 52. The overnight low, 29. We're up to 41 degrees. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria and also on YouTube. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, God loves you, and so do we. So long, everybody.